This is Zurich Airport calling for Racing Unleashed Season 2023 Beyond the Pinnacle. Today we are racing at Laguna Seca Raceway in the USA, the racetrack with the famous corkscrew corner. Ladies and gentlemen, start your simulators. Get ready for racing.
This is Racing Unleashed Beyond the Pinnacle.
And it is green and go. They make contact. Right into the gravel. So what's happened up front? Oh, it's chaos. They've gone deep. Little wiggle there.
This is Racing Unleashed.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Racing Unleashed. I'm your host, Mathew Duffin, bringing you all the action tonight from the Challenger League. And ignore that, it is not Challenge 8 of Spa. It is the penultimate round of the season. It is Challenge 9 of Laguna Seca. As just as we say that, it changes in the background. Challenge 9, Laguna Seca, penultimate round of the season for the Challenge League drivers and the Racer League drivers coming up tomorrow morning. What a challenge this will be. Laguna Seca, the fastest circuit on the calendar with lap times under a minute in that. The RU23, the Challenger that they have been driving all season, mastering and getting to this point where for one lucky driver tonight, he could be walking away with the championship. For the other two, they're going to be hoping to keep him hot on his toes by pushing it to the battle for glory in January then. It's the Challenger League. Yannick Pletcher is the one who is leading the way, and it's a fantastic location here in California of this fantastic race circuit. A brilliant, brilliant track with a very tricky section. The corkscrew, one of the famous corners in the world that drivers and fans will all know about. Here, though, are our 5 challenge cars for this evening. The blue one, second from the right of the Zurich Airport circuit, is not in use. We have Kempthal from Zurich in the green with the stripes, the wing mirrors and the helmet. The yellow with Madrid in the middle. Again, the front wing stripes, the wing mirrors and the helmet all in yellow. Madrid has the pink and our Calm Lounge has the red. The lovely detail on there just so as you as a viewer can identify which car is from which lounge as the drivers take on this circuit. As we said, the corkscrew, one of the most famous corners in the world. It's El Rouge, but backwards, if you will. It's more downhill than uphill, and it's a lot tighter than El Rouge. It's going to be fantastic to see all the drivers filing into there as we go. Prize money in stake, and what drivers could be walking away with $750 for a race win tonight. 500, 300, 200 for a top 4, all the way down to 30 if you're inside the top 10. The real one that the drivers are looking at is at $3,000 that they could take home with them this evening. Yannick Pletcher is one win away from doing that tonight. We'll get into that a little more in the programme. $2,000 for second place, 1.5 for third. That goes all the way down to $100 for a top 10 in the championships. Drivers started to cement their places inside that top 10 tonight, and that could confirm some prize money coming home to them in January at the Battle for Glory. The Racer League one here as well. You can see 3.5 for a win, 15,000 if you win the championship. We'll get into that one a little more tomorrow when we speak about the Racer League. Again, championship can be decided tomorrow. A lot is at stake this weekend. And it's been a fantastic season. It's been really good. Our camera crew this week live in our brand new racing lounge that's been there for now the last two races. It is the lounge in Madrid. The beautiful atmosphere. You've got some nice food on offer today. And family and friends, or just the regular viewer here to watch, a thumbs up there from our Madrid spectators. All happy smiles and waving. There is one man, or two men should I say, who'll be fully focused on tomorrow. Alejandro Sanchez and Enrique Marignon there, ready to go. Family and friends then, all watching on, and are all going to be getting ready to cheer on their driver and cheer on who they want to win this evening. And for 3 of the Madrid drivers, still a slight hope of a championship That man is one of them. Borja Zorzo currently sits in that magical 4th place spot in this championship. Needs a miracle if he's to win the championship, but he's still in it. Augusti Torlacci sits in 5th place on 76 points. Again, a lot of work for Augustin if he's to win this championship this season, but still mathematically in contention. It's the top 3 that are the 3 we are discussing today, and one of them is the Madrid driver of Marcus Valverde. He's in 2nd place in the championship and really needs some good hopes here if he is to, just take that fight to Yannick at the Battle for Glory. There he is on your camera now, the orange headband on display for him today. He's in with a chance. The gap is 18 points at the moment. It's just going to be fascinating to see what Marcus can do today. He's been on the back foot since his disconnection earlier in the season. This is something that, had he scored the points in that race, would we be talking about Valverde being the championship leader? This is the world of motorsport, and sim racing is different really than the real world. We have disconnections and sim rig failures. The real world have mechanical failures, crashes out. You name it, they have it. So not very similar, but at the same time, we all have the technical failures that take you out of the race. For Valverde, 18 points is the gap. And it's going to be difficult to see him pull this one back. Yannick Pletcher, the man on form, as is Nico Forlan, though. He's P3 in the championship. He's on 97 points, still mathematically in this championship as well. But he starts from the back of the grid today. He has a KO ban. And this, for Nico Forlan, is going to be something that is going to be hard work, because Laguna is not really known for its overtaking, is what we've been told in the practice sessions that drivers have done. We have not seen much overtaking in the practices. But let's take a look back then to a few weeks ago where we was at Spa and we saw the race winner. Lorenzo Hayder leads this race. They can see on the little track map, Lorenzo Hayder wins the race. Great drive from him. Absolutely fantastic race. Lot of drama, lot of action there. Lorenzo Hayder, he's got a bit of a sweat on. He's worked hard for that one there. He's really done well.
Our P1 man with his first win this year. He will be very happy. Here we have the confetti. It's necessary if you go P1 to have this confetti. So, yeah, congrats to him again as well. They're all really happy for him as well. Yannick is really happy.
Yeah, and Lorenzo Hayder last time out was a race winner for the first time at Racing Unleashed. He's been there or thereabouts and took his first win. Not in the championship fight, unfortunate for him, but a race winner he was. And that really has done a lot of things for Kemptol this year. It's means that the Kemptol Lounge cannot be beaten this season in terms of their race wins. With 2 races left, they have 5, while Munich only have the 1 and Madrid have 2. But let's take a look at somebody that was mentioned in that clip, the championship leader, Yannick Pletcher. Yannick Pletcher, the coolest character you'll see on the grid. And just look at how calm he is as Yannick uses a push-to-pass opportunity now down towards turn 1. That extra bit of speed gives Yannick the look he needs up the inside. And he leads this race. The championship leader, Yannick Pletcher, is making a statement today, as it is Yannick Pletcher who takes his 2nd race win in the Challenger League. Yannick Pletcher. And it is for numero uno, Yannick Pletcher, on the top step to receive his medal.
This is Racing Unleashed.
And there we saw Yannick Pletcher top step at Catalonia, his 2nd race win of the season. And a race win tonight will mean that there will be 25 points between himself and Marcus Valverde. But crucially, it will mean that Yannick Pletcher has 3 race wins, whereas Marcus Valverde will only have 1. So 2 wins for Pletcher, 1 for Forlan, 1 for Valverde, 1 for Augusti Torlacci. The Hayder brothers have 1 win apiece and Rock Mertzel has 1 as well. But like we say, Kemptol, 5 wins in that lounge this year. They've really stepped above the rest in the Challenger League this season. The one to watch, though, is Marcus Valverde. And let me tell you, the form he's been in, he has been one to watch. There is Valverde, 4.1 off the back of Lorenzo Hayder. 2nd place on the road for Marcus Valverde. Then head over to Madrid, where we get the beautiful setting, the Spanish flag in the background. Marcus Valverde steps onto the 2nd step of the podium. This man, he's been in the lead after he passed Thomas Herzog. He hasn't looked back after passing Thomas Herzog. What a drive. 2 races in a row. Valverde has had a phenomenal drive. It's going to be the man with the headband, Marcus Valverde, your race winner for race 4. Very happy man. And you hear them deafening sounds in Madrid. Brilliant to see. He's in now. It's a big cheer and a big round of applause. A fantastic hug. And it is Marcus Valverde. What an atmosphere in Madrid that is.
Yeah, very well done.
Doesn't that feel a long time ago? There you saw the sun peeking through the window at about 9 o'clock, 9:30 in the evening. Gone is the sun at that time. Now it's pitch black outside. It's absolutely brilliant as we headed towards the festive period. What a period we're going to. But Valverde, like we said, if it wasn't for that disconnection earlier in the season, what could have been for him? But for every driver this year, we've seen that Mr. Consistent Nico Farland had a good spell at the beginning of the season where he took podium after podium. And I believe for at least the first 5 or 6 races, his lowest position was that of P4. Every driver's had a bad race this year. We remember the Yannick Pletcher jump start at Zurich Airport Circuit. Valverde's had a disconnection. Nico Farland's had a bad couple of rounds. It's all happened to every single driver across this entire season. But what a season it's been. And for Marcus Valverde in particular, as we saw him there, he's been fantastic. There has been drives this season that Valverde has put on where he has just looked untouchable on his day. He had a knockout ban early in the season, came from the back of the pack, took a second place. His win there at Imola. He's had some very, very dominant drives where Valverde has just been absolutely untouchable. He could do with one of them nights tonight, let me tell you, because 18 points is that, championship lead gap, and it is a very, very close fought championship. But as we know, Yannick Pletcher has been a very hard man to beat himself. He's been somebody this season that has really took the fight to the grid. He's won 2 races. He's got the most race wins in the Challenger League this season. No other driver has took back-to-back wins, and it has proven how much Yannick Pletcher has come in. Now, I have a little statistic in front of me here that we found out earlier today, that Yannick Pletcher has got not just 2 wins to his name over Marcus's 1. They both have 3 second places, and none of them have a P3. So it just goes to show how close and how consistent these 2 drivers have been all season, that they are nearly identical in their statistics. If Valverde wins today and Yannick doesn't get a podium, that is then 2 wins apiece, 3 second places and still no third places. So their podium stats for the championship this season will be absolutely identical. Yannick Pletcher and Valverde have had an unforgettable season. And really, you have to tip your hat to Nico Farland, who at the beginning of the season was on form, took wins, took podiums. Torlacci as well had a few wins in there. Borgia Zarzo, though, let's point Borgia out a moment. He's still in this championship fight. He's 4th place, but he's not had a win all season. He hasn't won since the prologue. Could Laguna Seca be the track for him to win at tonight? A little track preview, though, of this fantastic circuit here in the USA. So as we come to Laguna Seca, it is here in California. What an absolute track this is. The home of the legendary corkscrew. 3.601 kilometres, 7 left-hand turns and 5 to the right. 266 metres from the P1 to turn 1 is what the drivers will find in the start of the race. As we head then from the start line all the way down to turn 1, it will be a crucial launch. It is a key chance to get away here because it's a good run and the chance to use some slipstream as you come over the hill and dip slightly towards the left. You come to turn 1 where it is flat out off the start and you head all the way down into then the second corner. Turn 2, or Andretti hairpin as it's known. Really a double sort of left-hander. You have to double apex it and make sure you get it done absolutely bang on. Turn 3, watch out for the sausage curb on the apex of the corner. It can easily catch you out. Short run down to turn 4 again. Another corner that if you hit the apex wrong and take too much curb, that sausage curb will bite you and you'll be off. Bit of a stretch down to turn 5 now. Kind of dips as you come towards the apex on that inside, and then you have to run uphill before the blind turn 6. And this one will really catch you out. If the driver makes a mistake, you're going wide into the gravel trap before the run up the roll straight towards the corkscrew. What a corner this is. Hard on brakes, down as many gears without trying to lose the car and unsettle the car with the rear end. The rainy curve then. Left-hander coming down the hill still as you head towards turn 10. Dips again as the right-hander hits the apex. You don't want to hit the sausage curb there. And a chance really to make some late moves in towards turn 11. You want to get this one right because it's a good run from here all the way down to the Andretti hairpin where it's flat out. Push to pass will be at use there as you cross the finish line. So that then a track preview of this fantastic circuit. And it really is an absolute brilliant, majestic circuit here in America. They really do produce some fantastic racetracks, and this is one of the best here. The corkscrew is going to be absolutely fantastic. We know the Formula One don't race there in the real world, but the IndyCar drivers do, and they find this a challenging circuit. I'm sure our Racing Unleashed drivers today will find it the same. Lap times under 1 minute, but the race result of the last time out, Lorenzo Hayder was your race winner from Marcus Valverde, who took that second place. Tyler Klausch found himself on the podium. Good result for him ahead of Borges Orzo, Roberto Miguez, Mohamed Ramsey, Mario Stanic, Yannick Pletcher, Nico Farland and Adrian Gomez. With Joshua Hayder just outside the points, Antonio Rivoli, Agustin Torlacci, Diego Gomez, Robin Doney, Walter Troninger, Gianluca Palmisano, and then the bottom three. The standings look a little like this. And Yannick Pletcher, like we said, 18 points out of Valverde, who leapfrogs Nico Farland. Borges Orzo moves himself up into P4 ahead of Agustin Torlacci. Lorenzo Hayder goes above his brother and Adrian Gomez. Rock Mertzel still in P9 with Mario Stanic rounding out the top 10. And don't forget, them 10 drivers will be fighting for all that little bit of prize money they can have in store. So it's vital that them drivers get that top 10 spot for them points and for the prize money here in the Challenger League season. But it is all about that top 5. The top 5 can still win the championship mathematically. Mohamed Ramsey, 26 points. Tyler Klausch and Roberto Miguez move up into 12th and 13th. Antonio Rivoli, Michael Fry, Gianluca Palmisano, Walter Troninger, Thomas Herzog, Besnik Mertesi and Robin Doney down, rounding out the bottom 20. Pretty much, big job for them guys to get inside that top 10 and get themselves some points on the board. It will be a tough ask for them. And we'll see if they're able to do so as the night goes on. Robin Doney will not. He has to serve a weekend ban. Here, though, is the penalty roster. And for a KO, a 2, 4 or 6 place grid penalty will get you 5, 10 or 15 penalty points for the race. 5, 10 or 15 seconds will get you 5, 10 or 15 second penalty point. 5, 10 or 15 penalty points. Now, the crucial thing to note about the penalty point system is if on lap 1 drivers get a penalty, it is double bubble, double the points and double the time penalty. If you get 20 points in a season, you get a knockout qualifying ban. If you get 40 points in the season, you get a weekend ban. Robin Doney will have to serve the weekend ban. Nico Farland will have to serve the KO ban. Catastrophic for his championship chances. If you are rewarded, though, a clean knockout means -2 penalty points. A clean race means -3. So it's a chance for the drivers to be rewarded by being clean and keeping their nose clean by losing some penalty points off of their roster. Now, here is the roster, and this makes for very, very interesting reading. Unless you're Nico Farland. Fabio Schlegel has a weekend ban. He is not here today. Robin Doney is not here either. He serves a weekend ban as well. Chiarenza not here. Neither is Tiziano. So they're not here this weekend to serve their knockout ban. But Nico Farland is. The other interesting one is when we go to the Battle for Glory, the qualifying is a more traditional qualifying format. I believe Fabio said last time out on air. Agustin Torlacci is 2 points away from that KO ban. Now, if by some miracle Augustin manages to stay in this championship fight into the Battle for Glory, he will not want them 2 penalty points on his name because he will not want the KO ban at the unknown location. With little practice that the drivers will be having, little preparation, because I believe it is race day the drivers are announced of the circuit. In fact, it's race day, the circuit is announced. Not even I know where we're racing this season. That's how top secret it is here. It's going to be interesting for the drivers to make sure they don't have these bans and don't have these penalties to their name going into it. They want as much track time as possible. There is Agustin Torlacci, 5th currently in the standings. He's on 76 points. He's mathematically in the championship fight, as is Borges Orzo. But it is going to be a tough ask for both of them drivers to get anything out of tonight and stay in this championship fight. They really need Yannick and Marcus and Nico to not score and for them two to have a 1-2 good result and take the fight to the Battle for Glory. Will it happen? Who knows what will happen? Here, though, is the grid and the starting order for the knockout qualifying session. New driver, Nikolai Rogiview, we do believe, is starting on pole. And we've missed the top 10. Ramsey starts 11th, Mario Stanik's 12th, Gomez 13th, Joshua Aders 14th, Lorenzo 15th, Augustin will go from 16th, Borgia 17th, Marcus Valverde 18th, Yannick Pletcher will start 19th, Nico Farland will not qualify. And here we go then. Laguna Seca. So I will run through the top 10 drivers for you at the minute. Nikolai Rogiview will start from P1. David Vertrich will start from P2. Diego Gomez P3. Unai Morato, one of our younger drivers, P4. Simon Shelbert will go from P5. Timothy Spearson P6. Andreas Koch P7. Walter Troninger P8. Michael Fry will go from 9th. And then we saw Klaus, Mohammed Ramsey and everybody else lining up there on the grid, ready to rock and roll. In this session, safety car out there, the Ferrari Challenge safety car, ready to bring us some more fantastic lap of this brilliant, brilliant circuit. And who will be the winner around this Laguna Seca track, or raceway, as the Americans like to call it. We're going to be in for an absolute treat. As here is the safety car driver. It is none other than Keptol Cero Zambra, the safety car driver. He'll be getting his eye in a few more laps. We're speaking with Cero in the week. Feels up for this one. He was within the top 5 of the Racer League drivers lap times in the week. So look out for him tomorrow in the Racer League. But he's got the honour driving that Ferrari Challenge safety car. Beautiful livery on the Ferrari. Absolutely majestic. Now, Nico backs the pack up. Really backs the pack up. Taking them through the motions. As he brakes into the final corner, he's going to come down to the line. The way the knockout qualifying works, if you're new to knockout qualifying, it is 1 warm-up lap, which we've just had. It is then 4, I believe I was told earlier, 4 guarded laps, full racing for 4 laps. And then we start to knock out drivers from this qualifying. 19 drivers on the track, so the first knockout lap will lose 1, and then we'll lose 2 every lap from that. So it is at the end of lap 5, we start lose a driver, I do believe. There's Unai Morato, just running a little wide, dipping a wheel into the gravel. Now the thing with the Laguna Seca, a beautiful track in pretty much desert-like conditions. If you run wide, you're in trouble because it is that sandy gravel, like Unai Morato does there, as he does well to hold on to that. You will be punished if you go wide. It's not like taking the track limits here. You will be finding yourself in a little bit of bother as drivers really cutting that bottom of the corkscrew. 2 wheels, remember, have to stay within the white lines, and Morato there just dipping a wheel over the white line there. So 4 guarded laps have been confirmed in my ear. So that is the end of the first guarded lap. We're on to guarded lap number 2. And for the drivers at the back of the pack, Marcus Valverde, he's only down in 18th, although he's sneaking up the inside of Borja Zarzo into that 17th spot. For Marcus Valverde, great opportunistic move there. Yannick Pletcher's going to try and follow through on Borja Zarzo in towards the Andretti hairpin. They're 4 wide near enough here. 2 in front of 2. And that 4 Torlacci stays ahead of Valverde, and Zarzo goes one that kind of pushes Yannick with him. So that's give Valverde a little bit of breathing space here. Borja just looks like he's struggling in the background. He's dropped right off the back of Valverde. In fact, he's let Yannick go. So does he feel that he's pushed Yannick wide there and has let him go? There's a dot stationary on the track map. But here is Nikolai in Kemptol. Welcome to Racing Unleashed, and best of luck in this knockout qualifying session, my friend. He's currently doing a great job. 1.5 in the lead of Diego Gomez. Rogiview takes the fastest lap, 1:08. We're expecting times under a minute, let's be sure about that one. We'll see one in this session, not at the moment. On board with Marcus Valverde, though. Still behind Augustin Torlacci. You're going to see that drivers aren't able to make as many places up as they normally would in this session. For Rogiview, 1-3 now to Diego Gomez. So Gomez looking to take the fight again. In Com's had a couple of poles recently in the knockout session. Here's our other new driver, David Vertrich. Comes into the corkscrew, well negotiated. You just see how patient he was on the throttle here. You heard his throttle input. So patient as he comes through. Didn't want to get that power down too quickly and lose the rear end of the car. Just a little wide on the apex end of turn 10. And he has got Simon Shelbert just chasing him down behind. Another calm driver. So both calm drivers looking for a good start here. 1:08. Again, 1:06 for Gomez. Now sets the fastest lap of the race. Are we going to see a time under that 59 second, or under that 1 minute mark? Down the order is Yannick Pletcher. Once again gets past Borges Zarzo. Valverde's past Torlaci. Zarzo's dropped right up back here. Well, Nico Forlan may still be in the championship fight by the end of today because the current championship leaders are not finding it easy to get through the traffic here. End of lap 2 was the end of the first guarded lap. The end of lap 3 was the second. So this is the end of the fourth guarded lap, which means at the end of lap 6 we lose the bottom driver. Here Yannick Pletcher dancing on the back of Augustin Torlaci as they head to the corner. You're not going to go right outside there, Yannick. I like your thought there. That is not going to happen. Very wisely it's out of it. Diego Gomez, 1.5 now. We're creeping into them times of that 1 minute mark. Mo Stanek has dropped down the order. Stanek, down the order. So now is Walter Troja. And here comes Torlaci, one again on the back of Marc Valverde. They changed places earlier. Here's Torlaci to have another look at Valverde round outside of the Andretti. No, can't get it done. Here is Borges Zarzo then. He's now the driver in trouble here in Madrid. Just hasn't had the pace in this knockout session. Not sure what has gone wrong for Borges, but just has not had the pace. He looks like he's going to be going for P19 on the grid, barring a disaster. And you have to feel that will surely eliminate him from any championship hopes he had left this season. Comes through the corkscrew, negotiates that quite nicely. Now Gomez has gained a little bit of time over Rogivu up front. Verthrich as well has gained a bit of time. As we are then going to say farewell for the time being to Borges Zarzo. He's going to be going from P19 on the grid. Yeah, you just see the look on his face here. Wasn't really sure what to make of that session. But then Yannick, championship leader, what do you do? Got to make up a few places if you're to stay on to do another lap. He's got Torlaci and Valverde in front there. The two he needs to get past. Gomez has had a problem somewhere because Unai Moroto, Verthrich moves up the order. In fact, there you go, Gomez is tumbling down the standings. He's fell behind Yannick. So Yannick now only needs to get past one driver of August Torlaci. He's not close enough. And with it being such a short lap here, Yannick needs a mistake from Torlaci. For Valverde, well, he needs to get past Lorenzo Hayder. But Yannick Pletcher then, through turn 10, in towards turn 11. That is going to be all she wrote for your championship leader. He's got to go from P17 on the grid. Wow, work to do for Yannick in this one. That's going to be interesting. Yeah, disappointed with that. See the slight shake of his head there. Now Torlaci will go, he's P16. Oh, nearly into the back of Marcus Valverde there. That would not have gone down well had them two come together. I believe no, we didn't lose Torlaci. Sorry, we lost Torlaci then. He's still in this knockout session. Apologies. Diego Gomez was the driver who fell down the standings. There he is in calm. So it is Torlaci and Valverde fighting Lorenzo Hayder then to get an extra lap in. Valverde would love to take his way through the pack, just being how much overtaking is difficult. Torlaci going to have a look towards the cut-through. No, backs out of the bump. Thinks better. Well, that beautiful angle as the cars drop downhill. Michael Fry was up, a few drivers changing around here. Torlaci's going to look to the outside. Is that Valverde? I think Valverde span one of the Hayders. Or have both Hayders got through? No, Joshua Hayder hasn't got through there. I believe Valverde may be caught up in an incident. Torlaci's 14th. Valverde and Joshua Hayder get past Torlaci. Or Hayder's trying to. I'm not quite sure who we've lost there. I believe Michael Fry, P16. And Walter Troninger, P15, I do believe, is who we've lost. Yes, we have. So Valverde fight for the day, but is a penalty coming his way. Definite contact was made as Marcus tried to survive another lap. Well, he gets another run here because we're currently going to lose Joshua and Augustin. Through the corkscrew, Augustin right on the back of Joshua Hayder. And Valverde creeping onto the back of Lorenzo. He's got another lap though. Here comes Joshua, sending one up the inside. It's Joshua Hayder. Did he make it stick? Has, but there's a driver off. Who's that? That's Lorenzo. So one Hayder through, the other Hayder off. Lorenzo 14th, Torlaci P13. Now, was that contact from Joshua as he went up the inside Marcus Valverde? I'm not sure. The camera angle didn't tell us too much there. But all sorts of drama involving one of the championship contenders, Marcus Valverde. Race control will be taking a very good look at all of this. Bear in mind, he's gone very wide up through line turn 6. Oh, careful, Marcus. You're just here. Too early on the throttle through the corkscrew. Gonna really unsettle the car. Unai, what a session he's having. He's just moved into P2. But hats off to Nikolai Rogiviu. P1, 2.6 seconds in the lead. Really doing well. Marcus Valverde, P12. That's as best as he's going to get. I reckon no race control. They're going to be looking at Marcus Valverde there. Joshua Hader, P11. These are all provisional results. Now we turn our attention to Andreas Koch, who is currently 3 seconds off the back of Adrian Gomez. And Gomez is right on the Mohamed Ramsey. Not really spoken about Mohamed Ramsey. Gone very quiet at his business today. On the back of the podium man, Tyler Klaus last time out. Here is Andreas up the hill towards the corkscrew. 4.1 off the back. Adrian Gomez left, right. Does the driver make a mistake? No. Look at them sweep through the left-hander down. Beautiful scenes here. Beautiful. So Koch is going to be P10, it looks like. Not yet to the line, but the others nearly. Mohamed Ramsey then on the back of Tyler Klaus, on the back of Mario Stanic. He'd love to get a few more places, get a few more. There goes Adrian Gomez out the session. P9 for him. Looks a little disgruntled with that P9. So obviously not very happy with that. Tyler Klaus and Mohamed Ramsey. Our attention turns to Timothy Spearson. Is the cork in the bottle at the moment. Oh, big moment for Mario Stanic. Did he just drop a wheel to the sausage curb? Klaus going to look up the inside. Stanic went around the outside, gets a little wiggle. Keeps it together. A few mistakes have crept in, and there it goes. There it goes. Brakes on the gravel. Game over, Mario Stanic in qualifying. P8 for him. And they're the mistakes that drivers cannot afford to make around this circuit. No. Nikolai Rogiviu front, half a second between him and Unai Morotto. There, Morotto, 59.7. Here is Mohamed Ramsey. Just a little too much sausage curve there. P7 for our Egyptian driver, Mohamed Ramsey. Good session, quiet session for Mohamed, and that's probably how he likes it. It's P7 points at the moment. Will he get there will he stay there for the race? Can progress forward? Who's seeing how difficult it is to take around here? Tyler Klaus Pearson. Well, these two drivers are going out, but in order. They're 6.9 seconds off of David Vertrich. So it's Spearson and Clark be eliminated. But in what order? Well, if Clark keeps doing that, you imagine Spearson's going to hang on to P5. Went a little deep. Oh, that's late on the brakes. Really caught Spearson there through the corkscrew, did Tyler Klaus. A little wide for Spearson. Klaus going to have a look up the inside. No, it's just a look. So stay calm. Now Tyler Klaus gets really close under the brakes. Through he comes. And then he's going to be P5 for Timothy Spearson. P6 for Tyler Klaus, who took third place last time out. Now, new driver, David Vertrich, on the back of Simon Shelbert. Calm looking for another pole position. Don't think that's going to happen. 4.2 seconds on such a short circuit. It's hard to do. Just noticed on the timing screen while watching the other battles, Unai Morotto is 1.8 seconds in the lead here. So our youngest driver is really demonstrating some good skills here today. Has Rogiviu just made a mistake though? He's lost another half a second in this middle sector alone. Well, either way, Shelbert is going to be going from P3. Vertrich will be going from P4. He can be happy. Good session for David there. Good session indeed. Now P1 versus P2. Unai Morotto versus Nikolai Rogiviu. 2.6 seconds the gap. Going to be difficult for Nikolai to get that one. Unai Morotto could take a pole position for Madrid here. Over Camp Tall. Really throwing it into turn 6 there is Morotto. The youngster. What a performance from the young man. and fourth on the grid, so had to get past a few cars. Well, he's passed the 3 that he needed to, and it could be at the moment provisional pole position. Nikolai, it's all track time for Nikolai. He'll be happy to just get a full knockout in the bag. But Unai Morotto then, he's going to cross the line, and he's going to be your provisional pole sitter here. P1 for Unai Morotto, not even as much as a celebration. I don't know if he's aware of it yet, but P1 for the young man. Congratulations, and he's done it in front of the camera crew as well at Madrid. Used to them being in Kemptall. But he's done it at Madrid then. Unai Morotto is your pole sitter provisionally at the moment. We'll have to see if that sticks in the race. Unai Morotto there. Sorry, I was trying to get my button on my sleeve done up. He's your provisional pole man from Nikolai Rogivu then, and then Simon Shelbert. Provisional top 3. It was all about, though, that championship lead performance. Marcus Valverde, we saw caught up in what looked to be a few incidents throughout that session. Yannick Pletcher just couldn't pass anybody there. It was mistakes that led to Yannick to get through past a couple of drivers. He's down in 17th. Valverde will go from 12th. So Nico Forland, not as bad as he possibly was expecting there. Yannick right in front of him pretty much on the grid. He's going to be looking forward to this one, but you saw how overtaking was very difficult in that session. Nico Forland, if he's been practicing with other drivers in the Munich Lounge in terms of overtaking, he's got to really be aware of when he can take his chances. I believe Madrid now realise that Morotto is on pole, as it's a big round of applause there for the young man. Borges Orzo congratulating him. He still looks as calm as ever. You wouldn't think he's just took pole position, would you? Bless him. Great to see P1 at the moment for Unai Morotto. Good stuff from him in that knockout session. And we'll speak with him momentarily, as well as confirm that P1 is definite for him. Good session. Good session for the 2 debutants as well. Nikolai Rogivu there, P2. And David Verthrich in P4 provisionally at the moment. So interesting to see, he's getting all the high fives. And he's in that zone, isn't he, that we drivers speak of. He's in that zone ready for the race. I think it might be sinking in now for him that he's just taken P1. What a performance. Can he replicate that in the race in front of the camera crew at Madrid as well? Great to see there. It's great to see the atmosphere in Madrid. Really is brilliant to see. Everybody seems very happy with that in Madrid. There is Borges Orzo. He's a man who's got a bit of work to do in the second part of this session. Then the race coming up shortly, 30 laps race. A real grueling task for these drivers. But at 59 seconds a lap, you know, we've got to make it for half an hour somehow. So, yeah, going to be difficult for Borgia to come back down the pack. Overtaking's hard as we saw, but push to pass will be in full effect in the race. Really, drivers are going to be looking to use that down the main straight, out the final corner, down towards the Andretti hairpin. Turn 1 isn't really there for the drivers. It's just more a little kink in the road. So it's all going to be go. Can Madrid take a 3rd race win of the season? Can somebody upset them? There is Torlachi on the right and Adrian Gomez on the left. We can, though, now speak to Unai. Unai, P1. Congratulations.
Thanks.
I don't think that's... Has that sunk in for you yet? Does it feel real that you've got P1?
No. I think I did very good, but my normal position is very low, usually.
You look like you had some good pace there today, Unai. That looks like it could be good for the race.
Yeah. Probably there are people faster than me, but I have good pace.
Overtaking seems like it's hard around here. So does that look good for you in terms of being able to keep hold of the win?
Yes.
Well, Unai,
I am not a
congratulations.
good defender. Thanks.
Well, Unai, congratulations. We'll let you get back ready for the race. Well done.
Thanks.
Man, a few words there, but clearly emotional, happy and relieved that one is done. Half the job, though. The other half comes in the race in a few moments' time. he now can get out the cockpit and have a bit of a stretch and a bit of a relax while he waits for the race to start. Going to stay in that zone, obviously, but yeah, he says that there's quicker drivers behind him. He had great pace in that knockout session. It's all going to be about whether he can keep that pace going forward into the race. Difficult to overtake around here. That is going to be the key thing for Unai Morato in this one. Can he keep hold of that race lead? We'll get full confirmation of the grid order very shortly, as well as race control will now start their work, or would have already started their work a few moments ago, in getting the grid order set. We saw Valverde caught up in a few incidents with the Haders. Is that going to affect him? Will it demote him down the order? If it does, will that promote Yannick Pletcher? Because P12 to P17, 5 places, so a 5-place grid penalty, and that is it. He's straight down the order. And will be allowing Yannick the chance to come back at him. And that is not what he needs at all. 18 points in this championship. Let's not forget. 50 points still on offer. 25 today, 25 for the Battle of Glory. So it's key here for Valverde to have a good race. Close that gap as much as possible going in to the Battle for Glory. Really is going to be a key one here. Nico Farland from 20th. KO ban for him. He's a little further behind. What can he do? Borja Zorzo down in 19th. He's pretty much out of this championship running, but, you know, miracles do happen. So is Augustin Torlacci, and miracles happen there as well. There is Unai. He's out the car. And P1 is confirmed. So that man on your screen now is fully confirmed. He has got P1. That will not change. So still the protest time at the moment. But Unai Morato, P1, he seems very, very happy with that. Big smile on his face. Well done to the young man who is, really come on for this season. We've really seen how he's gone from strength to strength in this championship so far this season. Remember back at Monza, he was backwards going into the first chicane. Now he sits provisional pole position while he sits pole position while we wait to go in this one. So we're going to be getting into the favourite part of the programme here, into rush hour in a few moments' time, as we will then discuss everything with our Kemptol Racing Lounge manager of Roy, who'll be joining us in a few moments' time. So rush hour, everybody's favourite part of the programme, and we're joined by Roy. Roy, good evening.
Good evening. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, welcome. Glad to be here.
Yeah, definitely.
Noah's had the chance, everybody else has had the chance, and now your chance to really sort of analyse the replays that we're going to see and just chat some stuff in the rush hour.
I'm glad that I finally got the chance, and what better time than the probable championship decider. Yeah. So we'll see. And obviously a big chance for your Racing Lounge of Kemptol with Yannick possibly being able to win the championship tonight. Correct. We've had a bit of a success drought, I'd say, in the past, since Smeedel and Co. have changed to Munich. But nowadays, thanks to Yannick and also the Heider brothers, we've found some success there again.
Found some success. Obviously, Ciro, the Challenger League champion of last year. So back-to-back Challenger League champions it could be this evening. But he's got a tough job as Yannick Pletcher, 17th provisionally on the grid at the moment. Just proving how tricky overtaking was at this Laguna Seca circuit.
It throws a bit of a curveball into the championship now, especially because I've seen Valverde is a bit ahead, and he's the guy he needs to beat today in order to become champion. Obviously, Farland as well, he still has the chance as well, but it looks really difficult from even further behind than Yannick already is. But we'll see what they can do. Patience is key on a track like Laguna Seca.
Yeah, patience is the key. But let's see, though, the Battle for Glory. Here it is, the 13th of January at 12:30 p.m. Challenger and Racer League. So strap yourself in, because you're in for a long old day of Racing Unleashed action. Both the Challenge League and Racer League drivers will be on the circuit at the same day. The grand finale, camera crew, and I believe the top 3 drivers in the championship will be heading to Munich for all of them to race there in what will be a fantastic circuit. Roy, nobody knows this track yet. So preparation is going to be very little compared to what they're used to all season.
That'll show who else can adapt quickly, which is a key thing in motorsports, be it virtual or real life. When things change randomly on the track, you have to be ready, and usually the best can do that. And a random track will show exactly who can be adaptable.
That is the 13th of January, a one-day event. So there is no Friday evening. It will all be done on the Saturday. And the prize money there you see on your screen now, $750, all the way down to 30 for a top 10 in the Challenger League. And the one that Yannick Pletcher could be walking away with tonight is at $3,000 prize money. $2,000 for second place, $1,500 for third, all the way down to $100 for that top 10 in the championship. So places for drivers all around. Drivers want to cement and get that place and get that prize money taken home. $3,000, Roy. It's a lot of money for the likes of Yannick Pletcher tonight that, you know, will fund something in his sim racing career or real racing, as we've seen he's been in this year in the Formula BMW.
Yeah, it's always nice to see that we can support drivers via prize money. They have to work for it, obviously, but at the same time, they get to do whatever they want with it. And so far, most of the guys who I've met will use it to further upgrade their equipment or get a chance to drive in a real thing for once.
Yeah, and that's the fascinating thing and the brilliant thing of Racing Unleashed. It gives these drivers the opportunity to propel themselves in the sim world or in the real world. Right, so while we await for some replays, let me tell you the stipulation of today. Yannick Pletcher basically needs to outscore Valverde by 8 points to win the championship. If he wins the race, it's all over anyway, regardless of where Valverde finishes. It's done. There'll be 25 points of the gap. So Yannick has got one hand on the trophy, but it is going to be very difficult for him to overtake and get into the points, though. Let's take a look, though, of a lap on board around Laguna Seca. So it's Romain Grosjean giving us the action here. And Roy, as you can see, the IndyCars sit a little higher up than what the Racing Unleashed drivers sitting in their Formula car.
Yeah, the IndyCar is a very different chassis, and it also always looks a bit more rough when they drive these cars. It looks more mechanical, more aggressive, and I think they're a bit harder on the driver as well.
And you can see, just as Roman's going through the corners here, every apex, right as you hit the apex, there's a little sausage curb just behind it. You see it's painted yellow here, red that you'll see on stream. That's really going to catch some drivers out this evening.
It's a bit of a classic in motorsports nowadays, like a bit of a trap. But it also lets you know where to hit the apex perfectly, because if you don't hit it perfectly, you'll likely get knocked out.
And this corner here, the corkscrew left and right, really tricky corner. You saw a lot of drivers in knockout not get on that power too early before the rear end sort of steps out.
Tricky corner, iconic corner especially, but these cars in setting 2 for the Challengers, they are a bit easier. Not to say that it's very easy, but we'll see how tomorrow will go.
We'll see indeed as the Roman exits the final corner. And that really the key opportunity for drivers to use their push to pass around here. There's not many other straights for drivers to use it. It's really going to be out the final corner all the way down to the Andretti hairpin.
It's almost the only section I believe you can actually overtake. Corkscrew, not impossible, but very difficult without at least crashing. And the last corner is a possibility too. We've seen it in the knockout. They attempted it at least. Some might have been successful. I didn't see it really, but yeah.
The interesting thing here as well is it's a bit more of an old-fashioned circuit. You go that little bit too wide and try and push them track limits. You're going to touch the dirt, the sand, the gravel on the outside of the exit curb. So for the drivers here, Roy, it's really going to be about pushing it to the limit, but not over that limit.
Yeah, I've driven it countless times in my own sim racing time before as well, and it is a difficult track. It instantly punishes you just when you go a little bit too wide. In other tracks, you get an off track, you might lose a bit of time, but on this track, you risk losing the entire race.
One thing as well is you see a lot of the exit curbs here, especially coming out of turn 5, going uphill towards turn 6. The exit curb kind of dips away a little bit. I've noticed on certain sim games. That little dip away, you dip them wheels over that exit curb out to 5, it's game over. Yeah. Let's take a look at the corkscrew in a bit more detail now as we can go into it and see what it really is like. So here then, an old-fashioned clip coming up through from 1985 into the corkscrew. And look at that, the curb, a real thick curb there on the exit.
It used to be a very high curb.
Yeah. Motorbikes here, so tilt your head, take you through the action. Seems a little easier on a bike, that.
I doubt it's probably the hardest one to do.
And then here on board a IndyCar, you just see how fast they approach. Slam onto the brakes. Don't touch them sausage curbs. And you really, a bit of a correction there on the exit. You really see how it dips and the bottom of the car sort of hits the floor.
You could see the aggressiveness of the Indy car right there.
And the intent to go in with carry as much speed through as possible. It's like El Rouge, but sort of downhill and tight.
Kind of.
Yeah. Going to be difficult for the drivers. The corkscrew, one of the most famous circuits. Laguna Seca, out of all the American tracks that we know of, Laguna is one of the best that America has provided.
It's a bit like the Monaco of the United States in the sense of difficulty. Not to say that other tracks are very easy, but it's short, it's very narrow, and like I said earlier, it instantly punishes the driver if they do something wrong.
It does indeed. It's 59 seconds a lap, so it's a very, very quick circuit, one of the quickest we've seen. Scott Dixon knows what it's like in an IndyCar. Let's take a look at him.
The orange and blue PNC back Honda, watch this. Bang!
We have a drive-through penalty, but we need to serve it now. Rough look. Avoidable contact, whoever that was that you hit there in turn 2. You're gonna be kidding me. That's exactly what we said. Let's just go through the pit lane. I cannot believe that. Do we look at that review like that's no way to go? I don't even know what they're talking about. Well, you got the jury members here, Scott. They'd be voting with you. Just work the back of the field first, and then we'll work on the next part, Scott.
Scott Dixon, you can never count him out.
Good job, Scott. We're getting there. We'll get through these guys. So everybody in front of us, have they pitted to go to the end? No, not everyone. Another caution out there on Scott pretty right. Negative. We're going to run hard now, best you can.
Pato Award and Romain Grosjean forced to pit.
Dixon, with all that has happened, has cycled back to the lead.
Dixon finishes off the season with another victory.
Nice work, everybody. That was cool. Nice work.
We won. That's all that matters. We won.
And Scott Dixon there, a very happy man after drive through, back of the field, fought his way to the front. He proved that overtaking was possible.
Then again, it's Scott Dixon.
Yeah.
Those who know IndyCar always know, never count him out. But even those drivers might have difficulty overtaking there. Need some luck and talent, obviously.
And I'm sure that we heard Scott Dixon very disgruntled with race control's decision for the drive-through. Our own drivers will probably be very disgruntled with some decisions this evening, no doubt. That's been the topic all season of race control and drivers feeling that penalties was harsh. So, replay time. This is Yannick Pletcher heading down towards the Andretti hairpin. Borgesazzo just in front of him. Yannick sneaking up the inside in towards Andretti. He's not quite alongside yet. He is now for the second part of it. And as they head towards turn 3, Borges is now on that inside line and just understeers and pushes Yannick kind of off the road a little bit.
The corner is a tricky one. It always looks very easy, but it suddenly closes on the driver in terms of angle. So, like we've seen there, he went out a bit wider than he might have expected himself and accidentally took Yannick with him. The
important thing there you saw at the end of that replay, and this is something that race control may not look at, is Borges also lets Yannick back through straight after turn 4. Turn 4. So clearly knowing he's done wrong gives Yannick the place, which is race control will.
Yeah, sportsmanship is important, and sometimes you just see who has more experience and stuff like that, because many drivers wouldn't purposely let the other guy through again, as in it already happened. I'm probably going to get penalized anyway, so why should I give up my position? But it's just how you should do things. I've seen it countless times. Some driver gives up the entire race, to be fair.
Borgia as well, knowing that he's understeered into Yannick, and obviously the gravel around here is really going to sort of slow you guys down. So for him to immediately give Yannick that place back, it's great respect from Borgia.
It shows he's been doing this a long time. I've watched him a lot of times in iRacing as well, and I see it there too. He really knows how to be fair and sportsmanship, which might be missing a bit nowadays, but
it's great respect. It's great to see the respect from Borgia there too. Yannick, especially when, there's championship on the line. He's still technically in this championship, so, take less penalty points, possibly not get a penalty now. He was P19, he gave Yannick the place back. So, race control will
at the end of the day, you have to be a bit realistic.
You do indeed. Here is Borgia and Yannick again then. This is coming down towards turn 10 then. So Borgia looking up the inside. Ooh. Little bit of wheel banging. Yannick back up the inside for turn 11. Borgia, so late on the brakes. Lucky not to hit. That was Augustin in front. Yannick bouncing off the sausage curbs. Borgia just within track limits.
Yeah, these cars are very sensitive to contact, and it's a bit of one of those corners as well. You can extend a lot. So as a driver, when you see the other guy extends, what are you going to do? You have to likely follow him outwards as well, use most of the track. But if the driver pulls back in again, sometimes it's already too late to react again, and like we've seen.
What would you say for that, if you're race control?
Hard to say. Yeah.
This is on board Borgia, watching Borgia go through. So they've already had a bit of a bash of wheels there, to which Yannick keeps the momentum, stays up the inside. Borgia so late on the brakes, does so well not to hit the back of Augustin. As he turns through the corner, he's now just within the track limits. And they can't. Is that Borgia trying to stay within track limits? They just come together and Borgia ends up worse?
You see that the green part of the outside from the curb suddenly ends, and oftentimes I find myself doing the same. I see that and realize, oh, I need to go back on the track. And I can't talk for him, but it looked a bit like that. But at the end of the day, he kind of put himself in that position there.
So this is on board with Yannick now as well. So it's not really a massive rejoin. It's kind of just that slight movement across, like you're changing junctions on the motorway. But for Borgia, so Yannick... Yeah, this is going to be hard for race control to decide.
Yeah, I'm glad I'm not part of them this time.
Yeah, but that is race control to decide. Is it Zarzo coming back onto the track? Is
hard
it
to
Yannick? They've got all the camera angles. They'll be able to see the steering input of Borgia and of Yannick and be able to decide, off of that view, what is the case. So Borgia maybe not at fault for the first incident, but potentially at fault for the second incident. We'll have to wait and see about that. We'll hear everything from our broadcast team upstairs, and we'll bring you the penalties the moment we get them through into our ears. So championship rivals we saw not really progressing through the field. Valverde, and I hope we get to see some of them, because the camera angle of that last corner wasn't exactly clear enough to see what happened. 2 incidents, both at the final corner, with both Hayder brothers.
Yeah, like I mentioned earlier with overtaking, the last corner invites you, but it closes, obviously. It's almost a hairpin. And you tend to get a bit too excited into that corner. There as well, I've seen it countless times in real life racing too. Yeah. And it happens very quickly there because, corner closes in on itself. It
does indeed. We've just been told, 2-place grid penalty, Yannick Pletcher. So Yannick will go from 17th on the grid provisionally all the way down to 19th, promoting Borgia to P18 and promoting Diego Gomez up 1 more spot for this incident. Now that's very interesting for me. They obviously have their steering, race control have the steering inputs. They've obviously seen everything.
They know more than us, but I don't think it was intentional at all. But in the heat of the moment, a lot of things happen really quickly, and sometimes it already happened before you even have time to react.
Do you think that's the worst thing for Yannick with the 2-place grid penalty? We actually have the cockpit view, so let's take a look at Yannick's steering angle. So he's coming through. We know he hits the sausage curb at the final corner a little hard. That steps the rear wheels out a little bit, the rear end of the car. There he hits it, look. You just see that little correction. Oh, the slightest of movements right.
But it wasn't enough of a movement for me to say he wanted to hit him. Yeah. It's a bit, they both turned into each other, it looked like.
It looks like they sort of met in the middle. Well, race control deemed that a 2-place grid penalty for Yannick. P19 for him. Is that going to be a bad thing, only demoted 2 places?
I don't know. There as well, I can't talk for him, but in my opinion, if that was me, I would honestly just say, what's the difference now? I'm at the back anyway. 2 more positions. I mean,
30-lap race.
That too.
Anything can happen. 8 laps, 8 usages of push to pass. So, he's now got a chance to really sort of find his way and see what he can do. So 19th place provisionally for Yannick Pletcher at the moment. Obviously, all their incidents will be being investigated and being looked at by the race control on all drivers. And I do hope that we can get the Hayders and Valverde, because I'll be very interested to see these incidents. Torlachi was also kind of in the middle of them, but looked like he was trying to stay out the way and not get involved as much as possible.
Sometimes you get involved, especially when you try to not be involved.
Yeah, that's kind of when you find it worse. You kind of come off. We saw Lorenzo was spun around, yet was ahead of Joshua. Joshua was side by side with Marcus. You're not involved in the incident. But, well, here we go, actually. Answers have been heard. Heider, so this is Lorenzo Heider, Marcus Valverde. Coming through turn 10. Valverde, good run. That's what the gravel does to you. It slows Lorenzo Heider down. He squeezes Valverde onto the gravel, who does well to actually keep that.
Lucky that the runoff exists.
And he gets the run round. So that's what happened, Lorenzo to Marcus. Squeezed him a little bit there. Well, we've been told. 2-place penalty for Lorenzo. So, yeah, clearly felt that he squeezed Valverde off the track and off. And that, actually, Roy, is the difference between Borgia and Yannick, where Borgia gives him the place back. Lorenzo squeezes Valverde, doesn't return the place, 2-place penalty.
Then again, you saw the difference in speed, and that's extreme.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't even realize that the other guy is about to be on your outside or inside, and you just check, and all of a sudden, he's already there. And sometimes there as well, it's too late. This is a track that really does invite mistakes, and small tracks mean mistakes oftentimes take others with you.
And this is what we said about you dip them 2 wheels over the curb. You're going to be in that gravel, that sand, if you will. And it really does slow you down. And we saw there the closing speed. So Lorenzo Heider then at the moment goes from P14 down to P16. That will promote the likes of Walter Treuninger and Michael Fry. Obviously, decisions will still be made. Everything will be across the board as they come through. We're being told them. I'd like to see the other one then, where Lorenzo was spun around. Here's Diego Gomez then involved in an incident. Now, he was down in 18th place, the driver from Calm. Coming through turn 3. And let's see what happens. Technical clash. We actually was discussing, weren't we, before we came on air about how mechanical failures, steering failures can happen in the real world motorsport. That's the equivalent to that for our drivers.
I obviously, I won't say that it's cool, that it's fun, but at the end of the day, we don't have technical failures of the car like the guys do in real life.
Yeah.
But, however, we do have software issues or maybe sometimes hardware too.
Yeah.
And hardware it can't be perfect every time.
And that's sim racing.
That
is sim racing, whether it's at home, whether it's in a simulator, hardware issues, PC problems, internet problems, and all of a sudden, your race is done.
Yeah, luck is just as much of a factor in the virtual world as it is in the real one. And I'm not exclusively speaking about crashing or incidents on the track.
Yeah, so that is why he went across the line in P18 then, but will be promoted that one spot because of Yannick Pletcher. So interesting to see there for Diego Gomez, and you just saw that as he exited turn 3, the steering wheel didn't want to straighten up, and it just pulled him. It was as if he may as well have still been turning right.
Yeah, it looked like he's had enough, but I don't think that's the case. But like I said, sometimes it just happens.
That's what
you get
happens.
Unlucky.
Here's Andreas Koch then, who finished down in P10. So he comes through the left-hander. He's very wide as the car in front. This is Valverde. No, is that No. Well, I don't know who's involved that, but wow. 1, 2, off. And then comes back on. Oh, no. Yeah. And so that's how Walter Treuninger got spun around. 2-place grid penalty for Andreas Koch. That puts him down to 12th, which promotes Torlacci and Valverde. So Valverde up to 11th.
He'll be happy about that, especially today.
Yeah, indeed. When he needs the points, that's going to really matter. That is just
the domino effect.
Yeah.
Like I said, small track takes others into your mistakes even faster. And especially if they're all in close proximity. Yeah. It takes one mistake. The further ahead the mistake happens, the more are probably affected.
And we find there that drivers sometimes get a little bit irritated or a bit too eager to get back into the race, that when you see him rejoin at the final corner, as Walter Treuninger has already turned in, pretty much on the apex, and he spins him round. It's just that little too eager from Koch there to get back going.
Yeah, sometimes you have different things on your mind when you get knocked out of the track or whatever. And oftentimes you find yourself not thinking, do I need to be careful on rejoining? Is there anybody else? But rather, how can I rejoin the fastest? Yeah. And oftentimes the fastest way is in the path of someone else.
Yeah, the fastest way is the worst way. Well, for Andreas Koch there, 2-place penalty for him to his name. Tyler Klausch. Right, what happened here? It's all down at the final corner.
Again?
Yeah, all down at the final corner. So Tyler Klausch, Michael Fry. So again, good run for Klausch. Just dipped a wheel onto the gravel. He's just way too late on the brake. Straight into the back of Fry. Well held. Very well held there from Michael Fry, but Klaus keeps position, 2-place penalty.
Last corner again. It does invite you to brake later than the turn 2 section because you can see what happens, but that doesn't help enough apparently.
That promotes Mohamed Ramsey up to P6 and Mario Stanic will go from P7. So drivers being changed all around. Every penalty that's been given has been last corner.
I think we see a pattern here.
A certain pattern started to emerge, and there's not the one where Lorenzo Hayder spun around and got knocked out of qualifying. So I'm interested to see if we can bring that one to you. That one's going to be an interesting one to watch as well. And we know the Hayder brothers very, very vocal, very sort of enthusiastic in the lounge. You know more than anybody being there.
Yeah, they are very passionate, and oftentimes passion means you get all the more worked up when things don't go your way.
The emotions start to run more.
Correct, and they are very intense in that regard. They are giving it their all, and it always is annoying when you get caught up in stuff that you even try to avoid at times.
Yeah, of course.
But at the end of the day, it happens to them just as much as everyone else.
Indeed it is. Michael Fry here then, and Tyler Klaus. So this is just after the incident has happened, straight after, down towards Andretti hairpin. Fry pulls out, he's on the outside. I don't know what happened to Klaus. Looks like he's still kept there, but Michael Fry, 2-place grid penalty. Where's Michael Fry on my list? I've lost him. There he is. So he was P16. He now tumbles down to P18, which promotes Diego Gomez up a place after his failure, and it promotes Borja Zarzo again, who's already got that grid place promotion because of Yannick Pletter's penalty. So he's finding his way working up the grid without having to do anything at the minute.
That's one way to do it.
Yeah. Who else wants a 2-place grid penalty? Not at the final corner. Andretti hairpin for that one. Was that a little harsh from race control?
A bit hard to say. It's in fights like these, especially with late apexes like we have in turn 2 and turn 2A or whatever you want to call it. You have to trust the other guy, and sometimes you can't see how much he slows down.
Well, this is the view that we can kind of see. Trailing behind, Fry very late on the brakes, turns in, just taps Klaus a little bit, upsets both cars. Klaus keeps there, still going. Well, I wonder if they deem that like as if they, pushed to pass. He's pushed him out the way. He's passed him. Kind of penalty.
It's a difficult one.
Interesting one. Here, though, is the highlight of the day. And if I said on commentary, did Joshua hit Lorenzo when he dive bombed Valverde? Let's take a look at the highlight of the day, because these two will have to drive home together tonight. So this could be a very, very awkward drive home. Right, Joshua Hayder's about to pull to the left of Valverde, who gets a horrible run. Oh, full send, straight into the back of your brother. Yep. So Valverde actually wasn't involved in any of the incidents. It was Valverde that was on the receiving end of both incidents. That's going to be an awkward conversation.
I don't know what's worse, to hit your teammate or to hit your brother, because
kind of both, because they drive go-karting as well, don't they? Teammates and brothers.
You get the worst case scenario of both.
Yeah. Let's hope for a good race for the both of them to cheer up the spirits. Obviously, last race of 2023, they're going to want to make sure they head it well. Let's take a look a bit further back. So it's Valverde, and again, the gravel slowing Valverde down.
Yeah, and you see the car in front slow down. Obviously, you're not going to wait around.
No.
And then we have, again, the last corner, which closes in on itself. Yeah. And you come in too fast. The other guy's too slow. Never goes well.
And the thing is, as well, we said earlier about, how it's always the guy who's not involved that gets caught up the worst. Lorenzo's halfway through the corner pretty much as Joshua clips the back of him. This is an onboard view. I'm not sure that Joshua's going to be loving this in Camp Tal. But look at the momentum he's got over Valverde. Chooses to go to the inside, just a day late and $1 short on the brakes.
Yeah, that was a very late move on the brakes, and I don't think he would have made it in time as well.
Yeah.
He probably would have hit Valverde on the exit.
And just for clarification, they're there on the middle of the screen. That's where they are.
Already discussing.
Probably an apology from Joshua to Lorenzo. Yeah, that's motor racing. That happens. Noah, I'm sure, will diffuse the situation and keep them calm.
Only good result.
Good. It's a great atmosphere again. It looks like in Camp Tall again. We've got the bar and some food on.
Yeah, it's a perfect location for stuff like this.
It seems to be, every Friday evening at the moment. It seems to be a really good atmosphere in the lounge.
Yeah, we get a lot of people who want to see the race. Obviously, the atmosphere is always very different if you are there compared to at home.
Yeah.
Well, hard to have no difference there, but. And we often have supporters of the drivers as well. For example, the family of Yannick, they're always there. Yeah. They're there to support him. And it's always cool to see for us as well. We get to know a lot more people. We see how they support their own drivers, or whatever you want to call it in this case. And the atmosphere just gets a lot more exciting, a lot more like a real race is actually happening.
So when you're in the lounge at this moment, obviously, Noah's obviously the one who's in charge tonight. He's sorted it out. When it's you, what do you tend to do when the drivers are in the race? Are you sort of talking with family and friends, as we see Fabio waving like crazy in the background? Are you chatting with the family and the friends of everybody to interact with them while the race is going on?
Usually I talk to a lot of them. If I don't talk to them, I just make sure that everything's going fine and just keep an eye out for any things that shouldn't be happening.
And like you say, we always see the Pletcher family. Hayden's always come with good support as well, and it's great to see everybody that turns up and supports the drivers through the evening. Obviously open on a Saturday as well for the Race League if you fancy popping down and checking out the Race League action. Are you back in Cape Tall tomorrow?
Yes, I will be there.
Roy will be there for the Race League action tomorrow. If you buy the Motor World building in Cape Tall, go and check it out. The Race League action where the likes of Ciro Zambra will be taken to the grid and looking for another good result. He's better this week, I do believe.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Some drivers actually do get a bit faster when they are not well, but let's hope he's not one of them.
Well, he did good result. Well, he wasn't well last time out, second place in the Race League, and was unwell, so good for him. Race coming up in a few moments' time, though. What a race we're going to have in store. Unless you're at the last corner, then race control could probably get a little busy. Roy, any predictions for who could win this race?
It's really hard to say. Like we mentioned already numerous times, mistakes happen really fast on this track, and it's not that you lose a position, you might just lose the entire race. So it's very unpredictable here. 30
laps. It's the same length of the race as what we've had every race this season, roughly the half an hour sort of race, but 30 laps is going to be tough for these drivers to do.
You get the same corners more often, and that also means you get more chances to do the same mistake if the worst case scenario happens. And it has a lot of corners, so the more laps, they're not more laps, but you see more corners, so this race might actually be more exhausting than, for example, Spa, even though that also seems like it takes forever because it's a massive track.
Yeah. Championship, though, is the biggest thing, and we've mentioned it a lot tonight. It's the biggest thing for this weekend. It's the penultimate round of the season, and some stipulations in place that could provide Yannick Pletcher glory tonight. All will move into the battle for glory, though. Nico Forland also still in contention. Let's take a look at what he has to do if he's to stay in mathematical contention and win the championship. So there he is, big smile on his face. He's currently on 97 points. If he gets P1 at Laguna Seca and P1 at the Battle for Glory, and Yannick Pletcher doesn't score any more, Yannick Pletcher scores less than 28 points, Nico Forland will win the championship. Obviously, that means he's got to also outscore Valverde at the moment, but he only has to outscore Valverde by 4 points. So Yannick needs less than 28. He needs to make sure he scores 4 more than Valverde, but he needs to win both races. 20th on the grid.
Never say never.
Stranger things have happened. Kimi Räikkönen, back in 07.
Yeah.
Won the championship from way back.
Sebastian Vettel, 2010. He's only led the championship after the last race.
He did indeed. So for Nico Forland, never say never. He was Mr. Consistent early part of the season. He's got to come from the back of the grid today, but he needs to win Laguna and win the Battle for Glory. If he does not win here tonight, he will not win the championship. That will be it. Regardless of if Yannick Pletcher scores points or not, he needs to win both races. That is what he needs to do. Otherwise, he will not win the championship. The next driver we then look at will be Marcus Valverde, who is 4 points ahead of Nico Forland. But then 4 points makes such a difference because it really narrows down what he has to do to Yannick Pletcher?
It can be an entire position in this regard. It also is definitely. He has a bigger chance. It's going to be difficult, but he starts way ahead of the other two drivers. And he's also already almost in the points by now, unless he also gets a penalty. But he'll have to do his best today and have to hope that the other two guys will struggle to overtake others on a track like this.
He will indeed. For Nico, while we wait for the graphic for Valverde, for Nico, he's got a lot to do in terms of the 2 wins.
Yeah, but this track, everything can happen. Yeah. And if he does win here, I think he'll suddenly find that momentum that is
especially coming
an infamous thing in motorsports.
Yeah.
If you have momentum, it's mostly a head thing, but momentum can change your entire season around.
So this is what Marcus Valverde then needs to do in the next 2 races to win the championship. Marcus Valverde, he's on 1 win this season already, has the same second places and the same third places as Yannick Pletcher. He's currently on 101 points. He will be champion if he wins here, wins at Battle for Glory. He has 3 race wins, which would then mean he's got 1 race win more than Yannick Pletcher. Pletcher at the Battle for Glory, though, so if Valverde wins both, Pletcher needs to finish 4th or lower than 3rd, will win Valverde the championship. So it's not as hard as Nico Farland, where Yannick only needs 28 points, but it's still a big, big ask.
The worst thing for a driver is when your championship hangs on in the threads of other drivers' actions, because you can only do so much. Like we said, if he wins both races, Yannick still isn't allowed to finish P3 or higher.
Yeah.
And you can't influence that yourself unless you're willing to risk your own season. And you can only do your best,
Exactly. So for Valverde to win today, Yannick to come through and take a P3. Now, obviously, what you see on air, we then have race control still doing the results. We bring you the final for classification of the podium, but race control off air will still be going through results for the rest of the order. So Yannick may cross the line 5th, and then all of a sudden, through, we could go on air and he could be promoted to 4th at least, or he could be demoted. We just don't know until the Battle for Glory. So 2 wins for Valverde will give him 3 race wins, which means he'll have the most wins in the season in the Challenger League. But Yannick Pletcher cannot get 1 podium. If he gets 1 podium, it is game over for Valverde. And it really is game over for Valverde. And we go back to that race earlier in the season. We spoke about it with Diego Gomez with his hardware issue. He had a disconnection earlier in the season, and that really ruined it for him. Yannick Pletcher, 119 points. If he wins at Laguna Seca, he will pretty much win the championship. He'll be on 144 points, but will have 3 race wins. Now, what we say you win the championship by is, mathematically, Valverde can still gain. It will still be a 25-point gap. Valverde can still be tied on points. The reason Yannick Pletcher will win the championship is he'll have 3 race wins to Valverde's 1, with 1 race left.
Yeah, countback always is there. If they get tied on points, and if they would be tied on wins, we'd go back to P2. Yeah. How many P2s do both drivers have, and so on and so forth, until we run out of positions.
Now, the interesting thing as well is, if Yannick Pletcher today wins the race, 25 points in the bag, and Marcus Valverde, I believe, finishes 4th place or lower, then it is done on points. It is done on points. So 3rd place or lower, and that is the championship done tonight. If Pletcher wins and Valverde gets 2nd, points can still gain. There'll be a 25-point gap, but Yannick will have the race win. Yannick tonight is sitting in a very good position.
It's probably the best position you can be in as a driver right now, because unlike the others, he doesn't have to hope that they do mistakes in that regard, but he's at the back of the grid as well. So he does, in a way, still have to hope that others do mistakes.
Valverde currently starting P10, so he's been promoted into that points through penalties with Pletcher starting 19th. So already that 18-point gap becomes 17 points based off the start of the race positions. If it finished where they started, that gap becomes 17 with 25 to play for. So still a big ask for Valverde. At 17 points, it's still a lot of points to play with. Valverde will want that gap around 8 or lower.
That means he'll have to try and get his best start of the season probably as well, and he too has to make up loads of ground. Not as much as the other two, obviously, but it can be enough.
Yeah. Roy, thanks for joining us in the rush hour. It's been a pleasure to see you.
Thanks for having me.
As we now go down to our virtual grid.
This is Racing Unleashed Beyond the Pinnacle.
And it is green and go. They make contact. Right into the gravel. So what's happened up front? Oh, it's chaos. They've gone deep. Oh, little wiggle there.
This is Racing Unleashed.
Welcome down to the virtual grid. We are going to speak with Nico Forland. Nico, it's P20 on the grid after a knockout ban. Difficult situation to be in on a track that's hard to overtake.
Yeah, for sure. But I will give my ultimate best for today for the race. So it's deciding the championship. We never know. So, well, let's see what happens.
Let's see what happens. Nico, best of luck. We wish you all the best. He's going from P20
Thank you very much.
in Munich is Nico Forland. Yannick Pletcher, we can speak with our championship leader. Yannick, you are normally the coolest driver on the grid. How is the nerves tonight?
First of all, hi Matthew, and yes, it's quite high. My heart rate is higher than usual, definitely. But yes, I mean, I'm P19 at the moment. The track is really difficult to overtake, and yes, it's really difficult to not make any mistakes. But overall, I'm really looking forward to a race, and I'm really excited.
Really excited. Yannick, P19, we wish you all the best from there, my friend. Good luck.
Thank you, Matthew.
He will go from 19th place then, will Yannick Pletcher. Michael Fry in 18th place, demoted down the pack, couple of positions with penalties. He'll go from P18. What can he do from there? It's going to be a tricky one for him in the Kemptol Lounge as well. As 17th place on the grid. Is that, of Borja Zarzo? I don't know if we are speaking with Michael Fry. That's who I can hear. No, I don't think it was who I could hear on my headset. Apologies. Borges also, P17. A couple of incidents for him, promotes him up the order. What can he do from there? Didn't seem to have the outright most pace in that knockout session. He's going to, though, give it his best. He's still in this championship fight. It's going to take a miracle. We think that Nico Forland has a lot of work to do. Borja will be one to keep your eyes on in terms of getting through that field. Hasn't won since the prologue. Can he get a race win today? Very difficult for him from P17. Lorenzo Hayder is P16. Lorenzo, 16th place on the grid. Going to be tough from there.
I don't know what to say about that. Really unlucky knockout qualifying. Again, a penalty. Well, I don't know why, but the race is very, very long, difficult track, and we will see what happens. I hope I do no mistakes, and yes.
No mistakes, but hopefully you and your brother don't make a bit of contact again.
Shit happens.
Best of luck from P16, Lorenzo. And just
Thank
apologies for the language there. Diego Gomez will go from P15 in harm. Hopefully his simulator now is fully working. The hardware failures are put to bed for him. We saw him have that moment where he just went straight off right into the wall. Hopefully they're all sorted for him. He goes from P15, does Diego Gomez, as our oldest driver on the grid. Walter Troninger, P14. Lovely little clip of Walter the last time out we saw at Spa. Just outside the points, he was spun around. Can Walter get himself into them points? P14 for him. Before we go to P13, and that is Joshua. Joshua, 13th place on the grid. You're just outside the points.
Yes, that's right.
Hopefully you'll have a better race than knockout. Maybe make some overtaking.
I don't know. The track is very, very hard to overtake, and I think the key is to make no mistakes. And after that, we will see what happened. And yeah.
No mistakes, and watch out for your brother.
No mistakes.
Best of luck, Joshua. P13 for you. Andreas Koch then will be going from P12 on the grid, just outside the points. Good support behind him in Kemptol. 12th place for Koch, though, after a 2-place penalty demoting him from 10th place. One man who's been promoted a few spots, again, a real slim chance of this championship is Augustin Torlacci. This man is P11. He's outside the points. He needs a big miracle, and a wave there, as you can see, is in Madrid. Augustin goes from P11. And a man who's been promoted into P10 is our biggest championship rival to Yannick Pletcher. Marcus, you're in the points now, starting from 10th. That's a bonus with Yannick at the back of the grid.
Yeah, exactly. I think it will be really hard to overtake, but I will try my best to finish as high as possible this race.
Push to pass now in the race. Surely that's going to give you a bit of an advantage to get past drivers down towards Andretti hairpin.
Yeah, I think it's the only opportunity I have. It's on main straight, so I will try my best.
Marcus, very best of luck in tonight's race, and he knows what he's got to do
Matthew.
to take this fight to Yannick Pletcher in the championship. Adrian Gomez from Madrid, he'll go from P9. Difficult session for all the drivers across the grid here. It was really tough for them to overtake. He goes from P9. Does Adrian Gomez, can he be the one to help Valverde in his championship quest? Tyler Klausch is in P8. Podium last time out it was for Tyler Klausch, whose camera is really lifted. You can just make out the top of Tyler Klausch's head there in his cockpit. P8 for Tyler. Mario Stanic goes from P7 from Kemptol. Just outside the top 5. It's going to be a good job if he can work his way up in there. Decent pace in that knockout session. Another man who got favoured through penalties, Mohamed Ramsey. We've barely mentioned Mohamed Ramsey today. He's been a man who's gone under the radar, a little quiet, but this man goes from P6. Can he get him to the podium? Timothy Spearson from Kemptol, P5 for the Swiss driver. There before our newcomer, David, David Vutric, I do believe, is P4. So on his debut, P4 just outside the podium. He looked like he had a good little bit of race pace, or knockout pace, should I say, in that session. Can he make his way up to that podium, maybe even the top step? Points I'm sure that David will be really looking to take home with him today before another Swiss driver. The Swiss drivers dominating the knockout session. In calm, Simon Shelbert was on pole a few races ago. He's going to be starting from P3 on the grid. What can Simon do tonight? Narrowly missed out earlier on. Simon will be hoping for a podium today. Nikolai Rogivu then in P2. Nikolai, P2 on your first race here at Racing Unleashed.
Yeah, kind of happy of it. First race going quite good, so I'm happy so far.
Happy so far. Can you win the race is the question.
I don't know. It depends what the guys behind me are doing. I think I can do a consistent race, a bit slower than the fast guys, for sure. My goal is to survive and make the best out of it. Yeah.
Well, Nikolai, we wish you the best of luck and enjoy your first race here at Racing Unleashed.
Thank you.
And then we go to our pole sitter, one of the youngest drivers here at Racing Unleashed who takes pole. Unai Morotto will be the man who will go through into P1. We heard from him earlier. P1 for our youngest driver on the grid. That then is your virtual grid here, ready for Laguna Seca and Challenge 9, the penultimate race of the season, where the drivers are finding it tricky to overtake. They're going to have to really work hard to overtake and to get this job done. In terms of the race, Yannick Pletcher 19th, Marcus Valverde 10th, Nico Forland 20th. Game on in this championship race. The revs are rising though. The lights are coming on now, and for the penultimate time this season, It is green and going. It is not the best start from Unai Moroto off the front row of the grid. And already Nikolai gets a good start and gets ahead of him. Coming down through turn 1 in towards Andretti Hairpin. It is Unai Moroto who's just getting swamped by drivers in towards the first corner. Manages to hang on to second place. Who though is Alof in the background? Not sure yet. His place is changing all over the place. Valverde though has already got up to P8 at the moment. Great start for him. Where is Yannick? He's up to 15th place. 14th place now as the timing screens is sorted itself out. Nico Farland only gains 1 place up to 19th, but 4 then. Nikolai Rogivu then, he's got the start he wanted. Moroto on the gravel a little bit on the outside. Here's Valverde coming up towards the corkscrew. He's now settled in P9. Farland's up to 17th. Yannick moves up to 30th. Drivers going side by side on the exit of the corkscrew. Can't get it done there. That is Joshua Hader, I do believe. No, Tyler Klausch and Spearson possibly. Pletcher, Torlacci, Fry, all moving laces. That is Nico Farland back down to 16th. Poggio. It's not his day today. He's down in 20th. This could be the end of his championship battle, trying to stay in it. David Verthrich here then. P4 watching the top 3 having a good little scrap. Mohamed Ramsey, what a start he's had. He's moved into P3. And Valverde coming under pressure from Lorenzo Hader. A little touch there from both drivers as Valverde up the inside still now. Again, a little more contact with Lorenzo Hader. Manages to hang on to it. He's come from 16th place on the grid and is already running inside the top 10. Ramsey, he's gone into P2 now. So him and Moroto clearly trying to make their way through. Andreas Koch drops down to 20th place, and you see push to pass being used. Who's that who's made a mistake? That is Spearson. Pushes Valverde off as he tries to defend, and now he's punted. That is Joshua Hader. He's rear-ended at the corkscrew. Valverde's up to 6th. And for Spearson there, a disastrous moment. Yannick Pletcher's in the points in 9th. He's gained 10 places in 2 laps. Unai Moroto, 59.9. Already the first driver under a minute. And that is Stanic up the inside of David Yannick Pletcher and right on the back of Adrian Gomez already. Stanic gets the job done there and moves up into P4. David Verthrich here. P5 at the minute. He's dropped down another position. He's got 3 seconds to the man who's charging Marcus Valverde. Torlacci moves into 10th. Nico Farland is up to 11th place. He started 20th on the grid, and for Nico Farland already, he's making moves in this one. Spearson, 3 laps of push to pass left to use in this race, and already that is proving to be difficult as he's only had 3 laps and he's used 5 usages of push to pass. Joshua Hader on a recovery drive here then, as he's trying to come back after an incident at the corkscrew last lap. Nico Farland, look at that determination on the young man's face. P11 hunting down after Augustine. He's had to sit and watch everybody in knockout. Moroto, 59.6. What's happened to David Verthrich here? The newcomer's in the pits. Was it a false start? Has he got a drive-through penalty? Not sure. We'll see if he comes back out onto the track. Valverde's now in 5th. Yannick Pletcher is in 8th. And what that does for the championship at the minute is it will give Valverde an extra 10 points and it will give Yannick Pletcher an extra 4. So he gains 6 points at the minute. And for Verthrich here, he looks like he's out of this race. Looks like it is game over for him. Down in P20. What a shame for the young man. But Yannick Pletcher, 8th place, cruising up to the back of Adrian Gomez. Got 6 usages of push to pass left. A long old race. Here is Poggio back up into 16th. Oh, big wiggle there from Shelbert in front. And Poggio watching the mistakes creep in from Simon Shelbert, trying to pounce where he can. Just doesn't seem to have the pace there. But Ramsey 59.6. Augustin Torlacci 59.4. Disqualified for Verthrich here. Has been disqualified for a jump start and didn't serve a drive-through penalty. He has been disqualified then from the race. Not the way to start your first race here at Racing Unleashed. Not that Valverde or Yannick Pletcher will be complaining. It's another driver they don't get past. Spearson, 5 laps into this race, 1 use of push to pass left. So already deciding to go on the push to pass. Yannick trying to gain onto the back line of Adrian Gomez. He's got Torlacci behind him. There he is, Mr. Cool himself. He's not got his seatbelts on. Dear me, Yannick working hard in the cockpit. Really trying to focus and gain onto the back then of Adrian Gomez. Test and you work hard with the seatbelts on, and then to not have that feel of the seatbelts. Not that it's going to matter. Thought he was looking up the inside. He does. Contact. Contact from Yannick. Give him the place. Give him the place. Penalties will be coming. He gives him the place. But he's also going to lose out to Torlachi. No, he doesn't. Round the outside of 3. Keeps it together. Oh, Yannick Pletcher. Now he drops a wheel in the gravel. Still doesn't invite Torlachi. Or does it up the inside? No, Torlachi backs out of that one. See? Get your seatbelts on, Yannick. Not now. Not while you're racing. It's too late. Torlachi. Currently in P9. Valverde gaining on the back of Nikolai Rogiviu then. And watching Yannick is Torlachi hunt down after Gomez. All this really helps Valverde, who is gaining on 4th, is gaining on 3rd. Look at it. Look at Morato. Pumps in a PB of a 59.5. Flying at the minute is Unai. Absolutely flying. Good on him. Could win a race here. First time for him. As Valverde comes through at the hairpin then. Now towards turn 3. Really putting pressure on the newcomer. Nico Forland's worked his way inside the top 10. So he's got himself inside a couple more points at the moment. Joshua Hader gaining on the back of Timothy Spearson. It was Spearson who speared him off the road at the corkscrew. And they want to rectify that and get past Spearson, who's got no push to pass left. Up the hill towards the blind turn 6. Watch that sausage curve. Push the limits, does Joshua there. And push the limits. Didn't touch the gravel though. Getting on Spearson into the corkscrew now. Through it they come. Here's Valverde getting closer to the back of Rogiviu then, with Lorenzo Hader gaining on the back of him. So Lorenzo's come to the party now. Here comes Valverde. Push to pass to the outside. Is it done? Yeah, of course it is. Valverde moves in T4. That then stipulation for the points. Valverde will now be on 12. Yannick Pletcher down in 8th will gain 4 still. So that will mean Yannick will move to 123. Marcus will move to 113. There'll be 10 points in the championship fight going to the battle for glory. Now I said to Roy in the rush hour programme, he'll want 8 or less points surely. Gap's down to 10 at the moment as it stands. But Yannick is all over the back of Gomez. Borges also moves ahead of Shelbert, as does Gomez, as does Klaus. Problem for Shelbert somewhere that has dropped him down the standings. Lorenzo right on the back of Nikolai Rogiviu. Lap 8 to 30. Exciting stuff. Pumping in the 59s is Morato and Mohamed Ramsey out front. Really consistent in the 59s. 59.9 for Stanic. Valverde in the 59s. Here comes Hader. Well, he got the move done according to the timing screens. So good move from Lorenzo. Past the new man, Nikolai. Up to P5. Race winner last time out at Spa, so we'll be looking to get another good result here. Mohamed Ramsey has been very quiet today. Not mentioning him a lot. We say that every time we speak about him, actually. So maybe he's not as quiet as we thought. He's P2. He's half second off the back of Unai Morato. He's got 1 usage left of push to pass. Over Unai Morato. Into the corkscrew. Quick guy is Mohamed Ramsey. We saw that in the clip of him last time out at Spa. Really is coming through these corners. Lovely. Yannick Pletcher just dropped off the back of Gomez a little bit. There is a train starting to form of Gomez, Pletcher, Torlachi, Forland. In fact, no, it's not even Gomez now. It is Nikolai Rogiviu then. And then goes Pletcher, Torlachi. Forland not quite on the back from Joshua Hader. Gets past Timothy Spearson. That is for P11 and 12. Spearson's also now lost out to Gomez and Zarzo and Klaus. And looks like he's rejoining the circuit at the corkscrew. So, what's happened there? That's where he took Joshua Hader off earlier. Yannick could do with a couple of places just to keep that gap at a good spot. Spearson now has overdone the car coming into the penultimate corner, and Walter Treunig is gaining on the back of him. So Spearson looks like he's heated the tyres up too much. And he's got no push to pass, so he's going to struggle as this race goes on. Tactics of when to use the push to pass and when not to. Going well so far for Torlachi. P9. Forland's gaining on these guys though. Little train developing. As Morato uses a push to pass. Does a 59.9, loses 4 tenths to Mohamed Ramsey on the last lap. Gap's 8 tenths of a second though. Valverde, couple of tenths quicker than Stanic. Looking back from Adrian Gomez, there you see Pletcher and Torlachi. Just kicks up a little bit of gravel on the outside. Gomez, we don't know where Ruggy View is at the moment, but he's side by side with him somewhere. There is Ruggy View. Got forced wide there by Gomez. Pletcher capitalises, goes through. Now will Yannick look up the inside of Gomez into turn 5? No. Patiently waits to Yannick Pletcher. Uses a push to pass now. Wow. Bold move for Yannick to use a push to pass up here. Flicks it through the left-hander. Didn't really work for him. Possibly should have saved that for the start straight, but it's done now. Puts it to bed. There he is. No one needs to give him a telling off. Not wear his seatbelts. Terrible. Yannick Pletcher though. P7 now. And that changes the championship points. That gives Yannick an extra 2 points. Gap's back up to 12. With 25 left to play with after this. Mario Stanic, fastest lap for him of the race. PB 59. Yannick gaining on Gomez. Can't get it done. Torlachi is now ahead of Rogivu. So Rogivu drops down to P9. He's now got Nico Forland on the him. And for Forland, well, trying to stay in this fight. Yannick's not going to find the traction out the corner there on the outside in the gravel. Here is Nico Forland. Angelo Mikel watching on in the background. Racer League driver. Good drive this from Forland. Gained 10 places on a track that's hard to overtake. Gained 10 places. Yannick's gained 12. Real good drive from them two from the back of the pack. Experienced driving, waiting for the drivers to make a mistake and pouncing when they do. As Unai Morotto, 59.4, in another PB. Flying as Borgia gets past Joshua Hader, so does Gomez and Klaus. Hader made a problem. Here is Unai Morotto then, thanks to our camera crew in Madrid. P1 at the moment, absolutely flying is Unai. Got a good bit of audience cheering him on here. First pole position, could be in for his first win. Gap Ramsey to 1.2 seconds. Oh, flicking it through turn 6 there. Really running it to the gravel on the outside. Torlachi's gained on Pletcher. Pletcher's lost a little bit to Gomez as they're now hunting down Lorenzo Hader. Oh, Pletcher on the gravel. Torlachi's going to get through here, and he does. Pletcher's mistake. Torlachi through. Gap back down to 10 as it currently stands because Yannick will only gain them 4 points. And you just wonder how much of him not wearing them seatbelts, with not having that feel of them tightening on his torso, is playing on Yannick Pletcher's mind. Every little detail has to be right for these drivers. How comfortable they are in the car has to be right. And for him to not have such a big feeling in these simulators could really be distracting Yannick here. He's down to 8th. Valverde is also on the back of Stanic. Look at that face. Determination. Nico Forland's up to 9th. He's got past Nikolai Rogivu then. So he's now going to gain on his championship rival. Valverde 9 seconds off the back of Morotto with 5 usages left. He couldn't, could he? And there's one way to find out through the corkscrew. Nicely done from Valverde there. He's had some stellar drives this year. And this is another one. P10 to P4 at the minute on the back of P3. Marcus Valverde. Lost a couple of attempts to Stanic that lap. It's not going to hurt him too much. Now the 59 start to pump in. Yannick Pletcher 59.6. PB for him. And there is the view in Madrid. Behind Morotto. Probably behind Valverde as well. To cheer them on in the championship, Michael Fry gets past Joshua Hader for 14th and 15th. Here comes Valverde. Now Joshua Hader under pressure from Simon Shelbert. Both use push to pass. Shelbert to look to the outside. Hader gives him the room. And Andretti hairpin. You'd think that's a little wide, but it's the way you take turn 1. You kind of clip first apex, run a little deep to turn it back in like a V shape almost on the corner. Torlachi already starting to put a bit of daylight between himself and Yannick. Andreas Koch has got past Simon Shelbert, so has Spearson. So is Troninger, so I'm not sure what has happened to Spearson. This is Augustin Torlaci, who is absolutely flying at the moment. Morotto, by the way, is about, you know, he's one corner, just gone through turn 6 up towards the corkscrew, and then he's going to lap Shelby. So Morotto is flying. He's 1.5 clear of Ramsey. And he just has to keep nailing every single part of this track. At the moment, very short lap. This is Augustin Torlaci on the back of Gomez on the left-hand side of your screen. On the right-hand side of your screen is a very, very close Marcus Valverde to the back of Mario Stanic. Down the hill they come. And this will be huge. Stanic just tipping a wheel over the... This will be huge. With Yannick Placher only scoring 4 points, if Valverde gets onto the podium, that'll be 15, putting the gap. So Yannick will go to 123, Marcus will go to 116. Gap down to 7 points. It would be. He's right on back of Mario Stanic. Marcus Valverde. Torlaci not letting up at all on the back of Adrian Gomez. Here's Valverde really pushing his RU23 machine to the limit. 4 usages of push to pass left for Marcus. Morotto is gaining on Shelbert, by the way, to start lapping traffic. And there's Hayder, Koch, Spearson and Troninger all in front. So a lot of traffic coming up for Morotto, as he's now got a 2-second gap. What's happened to Torlaci? He's dropped off the back of Gomez, and now it's the turn of Yannick Placher to try and come past him. Forlan's used all his push to pass at the moment. Yannick into turn 10, towards turn 11. He's not close enough to make a move. Gomez, 2 usages left. Torlaci, 4 usages left. Yannick uses 1 now. Look at him gain on Torlaci. Gains. Torlaci, he opens the door. He invites Yannick through, and Yannick accepts the invitation. Oh, wiggle from Gomez on the exit of Andretti hairpin. Yannick Placher moves back into 7th place, so that now gives him 6 points, which will put him on 125. So the gap reopens up a little bit, but it will go to 9 points if Valverde gets past Stanic. As it stands at the minute, Valverde only gained the 12, so he'll be on 113. To Yannick Placher's 125, gap will be 12. 12 points. Is that a bit too big, maybe, for Valverde? Torlaci needs to come back here. Yannick again dipping a wheel on the gravel. It's not going to help him in terms of his momentum through the track here. The audience watching on in Madrid. Yannick Placher, PB that lap. Doesn't use push to pass there. He's holding it. He's waiting for Gomez maybe to make a mistake. 0.8 seconds back to further forward is Lorenzo here. Saying that, there's 11 laps left of the race, so anything can still happen. Mohamed Ramsey's got the gap down to 1.3. How much is the traffic playing a part here? Because Spearson has had a spin at the corkscrew, and now the leaders are all coming through. Here's Stanic and Valverde coming through to lap Spearson and Shelbert. Shelbert's had a moment as well, and now here comes Placher. Hayden, is that Hayden? That's Lorenzo Hayder, not Joshua Hayder. We're all fine. There is a car off somewhere. There is the car that is off. Mohamed Ramsey fastest lap again. So the back markers now just starting to get in the way a little bit here. As Morotto, a second to Ramsey. Ramsey starts pumping in fastest laps. They're gaining on Walter Troninger. Yannick getting close under brake. They can't do anything about it. Andreas Koch gets past Michael Frey. That's for 15th and 16th. As Walter Troninger at the corkscrew has Motto and Ramsey gaining. Obviously, you've got to abide by the blue flag rule. And it shows how short this circuit is, that we're actually getting to lap the other cars here. We don't normally see this unless there's been a few incidents from them drivers. I believe Morotto has got past. Yannick Placher is all over the gearbox of Adrian Gomez now. 0.2 of a second the gap. Valverde's just dropped back off the rear end Stanic a little bit. Will Placher think to use a push to pass down the straight? That 20-30 that the leader is on. He does use a push to pass. Are we going to see Yannick Pletcher make another move at anti-hairpin? Gomez defends and fights hard. Yannick's trying to sweep around the outside. Gets it done, but is still wide. Gomez can tug back underneath. Yannick is still there. He's still there. Is it done into turn 3? It is. Yannick Pletcher moves into 6 with a great move around the outside. Then up the inside of Adrian Gomez. So now Yannick is on 8 points. That'll put him on 127. While Valverde will still be on 113. That gap will be 14 points with 25 left to play for at the battle for glory. And that is going to be tough for Valverde to come to. Nico Forland on 9. That's only 2 at P9. He's on 2 points he's gaining. That'll put him on 99. And with Yannick Pletcher on 125, that'll be Forland out of the championship. So Valverde really needs to get on this podium now. Really needs to see that Yannick has moved up another place and needs to get on that podium. Because now Yannick can start to head after Lorenzo. There is our camera crew in Madrid. A little wiggle there for Valverde. Everybody watching on. Everybody will know there. The Racing Unleashed colleagues will know the stipulations that Valverde needs to stay in this championship fight, or to close the gap as much as possible in this championship fight. Has he switched on now? Pletcher to Hayder, 1.5 seconds. And this is all a provisional result at the moment, so this is without confirming the final result. Pletcher 1.2 now to Lorenzo. Spearson's now in the pits. Is that him done in this race? Potentially so. So for Timothy Spearson, not the race he'd have wanted. P19, it looks like it's going to be for him. He's in the... Valverde taps Stanic. Doesn't overtake him. Stanic keeps the place. That should be that. Should be anything else to come from that. Valverde now starting to apply the pressure to Mario Stanic. You see everybody watching on. They know what Valverde's got to do. Great to see in Madrid that. Getting close at the corkscrew. Getting really close. Pletcher though, with 8 tenths to Lorenzo Hayder. He's going to be 5 seconds for the back of these when he gets past them. If he gets past Lorenzo. There is Torlachi to the right-hand side of your screen on the back of Adrian Gomez. To the left, Valverde on the back of Stanic. Here's Ramsey, who's got within 3 tenths of Unai Morotto. So Ahmed Ramsey's put the pressure on Unai. He's still got 3 usages of push to pass, where Unai only has 1. It's a game on for the race lead here. Watch the road, not the screens, Mohammed. Munich, who's had 1 win in the race league, to Madrid's 2. Valverde's got past Stanic. On the timing screen, Stanic has dropped to 5th. Stanic has dropped behind Pletcher. What has happened there to Mario Stanic? Tumbling down the orders. Right, so points again. So Valverde will be on 50. That'll put him on 116 points. Yannick Pletcher will gain 10. That'll put him on 129. The gap is still 14. Hopefully Valverde didn't make contact with Stanic, otherwise a penalty could put Pletcher within touching distance of beating Marcus Valverde. Oh, how that would change the championship. Spun on his own Tony Narea, so that's okay for Valverde. He can breathe a sigh of relief. Pletcher half a second quicker than Hayder last time around. That gap is down to half a second. Mohamed Ramsey is within 4 tenths. Torlachi's gone deep as he gets past Gomez. Yep, job done at Andretti Hairpin. Gomez no more push to pass. He's got Stanic trying to recover. Ramsey half a second to Morotto. 1 use versus 2 use of push to pass. Yannick Pletcher within half a second of Lorenzo Hayder. That would give him another 2 points. That'd put him on 131. While Valverde would only be on 116. 15 point difference with 25 to play for. It is not a lot. Ramsey is saving them push to pass usages over Morotto. They're about to lap another driver here. Another 2 drivers having up down the order. That looks like it's Michael Fry and Andreas Koch. Oh, and Koch! Koch with a bit of a rejoin. right in the path of Moratto. And now Cockers round. Oh, Moratto's got him. The race leader. And Valverde, can he capitalise and catch on the back? I don't think he will. I think he's too far behind. But a shake of the head from Madrid. Enrique Marignon there, and our Racing Unleashed colleague. A shake of the head. Was that down to the back marker? I said earlier in the season that Christmas had come early for Yannick Pletcher. Well, Christmas is right around the corner for Mohamed Ramzi, possibly gifted a race win. Valverde's now within 3.8 of Moratto. Pletcher within 4/10 of Lorenzo Hayder. And this is where the back markers have come into this one. Pearson a lap down, he's back out on track. There is Yannick, trying to gain on Lorenzo. Lost 2/10 last time around, Torlachi PB. Yannick's got no more push to pass. I love how cool he always looks. He never looks like he's worried in the car. We'll see if that's the same case at the Battle for Glory. Moratto only down to second place. He's 3 seconds ahead of Valverde. Valverde needs to go at like 1.2 a lap quicker than Moratto to gain on Moratto in this race. But catching's one thing, passing's another. Joshua Hayder fastest up with a 51. Wow, oh wow. Ramsey on the back of Fry to put a lap on Michael Fry now. Jan keeps clipping that car. He's got no push to pass. And he's 4/10 ahead of Lorenzo Hayder, who's saving his last lap as well at the moment. Yannick's got to do it on pure pace. Here's Andreas Koch then, who we believe was the one who got caught up in the with Unai Moratto. I'm sure the replays that we'll get to see at the end of the race will tell us the full story. Yannick Pletcher though within half a second. So Valverde still losing time to Moratto here, to be fair. Lost a couple of tenths, and that is, I believe, Walter Troninger getting right out. He does not want to be a part of this battle, especially when the championship leader's involved. And that is how you respect the blue flags. Nico Farland gaining on the back of Adrian Gomez. 4/10 off the back. Farland needs this. He needs this at the moment. I don't think it's going to be enough. It could be on 129. Farland, if he gets this extra place, will only be on 101. So no, still not enough for Nico Farland. And who is going slow? I believe that's a back marker again. But Yannick Pletcher, as we come towards the end of the race, really trying to put some pressure on Hayder now, who's used his last push to pass. It's all driver skill for these last couple of laps. Mohamed Ramzi 5.2 ahead of Unai Moratto. Little wiggle and a bit deep from Hayder there. That's going to open the eyes of Yannick Pletcher a little bit. Lap 29 of 30. Can Pletcher get that extra place? P5 will give him 10 points. At the minute he's P4 will give him 12 points. At the minute he's 5th. And will only gain the 10. Chance for Yannick here to take 2 more points away from Valverde's opportunity of winning this title. Ramsey starts the final lap of this race. What a race this has been. What an absolute brilliant race this has been. Ramsey, Moratto, Valverde, Torri, Lorenzo Hayder hanging on for P4. Pletcher gains under braking, doesn't gain enough. Cannot find a way through into turn 2 now. It's all about setting him up for an opportunity. Make him make a mistake. And Yannick's the one who makes the mistake. He just drops a wheel on the gravel. And was that his last opportunity? Still close enough. Still a mistake from Lorenzo Hayder here. Could allow Yannick to gain an extra place. Hard on the brakes, into the corkscrew. Final time for Yannick Pletcher. 3 corners left to go, running out of time. He's really running out of time, but Mohamed Ramzi is your race winner here. He will take his first race win of the season. Great drive from him. Unai Moratto, what a shame, P2. Great fight between them two. Marcus Valverde crosses the line, P3. Lorenzo Hayder hangs on for P4, so Yannick Pletcher, P5. Augustin Torlachi will come home P6. P7 will go the way of Mario Stanic. P8, Adrian Gomez. P9, Nico Forlan. Great drive from the back of the pack, to be fair. Borges also rounds out the top 10. Gets himself a point. Round of applause indeed. A Madrid 2-3. Really good stuff that from Valverde, who takes points away from Yannick. And Munich take their second race win of the season as a Racing Lounge. Mohamed Ramzi's first race win. Hugs all around. A few tears there as well in the Racing Lounge. But what a race. What an absolute race. Valverde, great drive. Yannick from 19th, great drive. Nico Forlan, great drive from the back of the pack. And there we see Unai Moroto. So, commiserations to the young man. Drove a fantastic race. P2. Provisionally at the minute, Sebastian Hirsch, I believe that is just off camera chatting with Mohamed Ramzi. Great race win there for him. Valverde P3 podium. Lorenzo Hayder hung on for P4 from Yannick Pletcher. What a race. What a race that was. Tiring. 30 laps. Tiring for the drivers. Good bit of action all around as well as the checkered flag in the background for Mohamed Ramzi. They love a good victory in Munich, they do. So he is provisionally P1. Unai Moroto is provisionally P2. And then Marcus Valverde provisionally P3. There then is Sebastian Hirsch and Mohamed Ramzi. And everybody looks happy in Munich. Indeed they do. Munich take the second win then of the season in the Challenge League. Madrid also have 2. Kemptol have 5. Kemptol have the most race wins in the Challenge League. But it's another race winner. And it is Mohamed Ramzi, meaning that at the moment, from what I'm working out here, so that is an extra 15 points for Marcus Valverde for the P3. That'll put Marcus on 116. For Yannick Pletcher, that was another 10 points. That'll put Yannick on 129. The gap is 14 points. Now, if Marcus Valverde wins the next race, that'll put him on 2 race wins, the same race wins as Yannick Pletcher. Another thing to note there, actually, looking at the other statistics, is that is Valverde's first third place. Yannick doesn't have 1. So the gap is 14 points. At the moment, we don't know if it's going to stay this way. We're waiting confirmation on the podium, and obviously we'll still be waiting to see where Yannick finishes at the end. Now, if Valverde wins the race, that'll be a full 25 points. He needs to outscore Yannick by 14, meaning that Yannick would need to finish 5th or lower at the Battle for Glory if Valverde wins the race. And that'll be Valverde winning it outright. At the moment, everything's provisional. Nothing is final yet. So Valverde hasn't got third place confirmed at this minute. Yannick doesn't have P5 confirmed at this minute. Everything could change. But as we work it out now, 129 points will be Yannick Pletcher for his 10 points today. The 15 points for Marcus Valverde will put him on 116. Nico Forlan crossed the line P9. That only gives him 2 points. That puts him on 99. He is out. Borges also gained 1. That puts him on 84. He is out. Augustin Torlacci come across the line in P6. That is only 8 points. He is also out of the running. It is a 2-horse race as it stands at the moment. Race Control now have the toughest job to do. So once again, Mohamed Ramzi provisional race winner from Unai Moroto P2, Marcus Valverde provisionally P3. In terms of the championship, Yannick Pletcher finishing a provisional P5 will put him on 129 points. Marcus Valverde finishing in that provisional P3 will put him on 116 points, meaning it will go down to the Battle for Glory. 14 points in it, 25 points up for grabs. So all Yannick needs to do is finish 4th or higher at the Battle for Glory if Valverde wins the race. But at the minute, anything could change from the race result we saw here. What a Challenge 9 that was. What a penultimate race of the season we've just saw here at Laguna Seca. Absolutely fantastic. If you love the action here at Racing Unleashed, make sure you join us live in the morning for the Racer League, where another challenge stipulation can be done between Michael Schmiedel and Alejandro Sanchez. But provisional result, Mohamed Ramzi race winner, Unai Moroto, P2, Marcus Valverde, P3. Now it's down to Race Control to see what they will decide, to see if everything is above board and what penalties will be given to what drivers? Yeah, interesting. Battle for glory. Now, the interesting thing about this actually is 14 points in this championship fight. Going forward to the battle for glory, the drivers, as me and Roy were saying earlier, have no preparation for this. They'll have half an hour or so before the race, or before the knockout, should I say. We don't know. I don't know if management know where the track is. Nobody knows. And it is not announced until race day. So even if we do know, it's not announced until race day. So it really is tough for these drivers. You know, the mentality of going into a track that is unknown. We have a month break now until the next race, 13th of January it will be. So we've got just over a month until that race. The driver's mentality of preparing. You know, how can you exciting thing of what we do here at Racing, and this is going to be the thrilling thing of what we bring to you as the viewers, as well, with a bit more of a normal qualifying format for you all. But wow, that was an interesting race. There, it really was. Hopefully, we get full confirmation of the podiums in a few moments' time. I believe the sound in my ear is this man, Marcus Valverde. Marcus, P3 from P10. That was a good drive.
Yeah, I mean, I think I had really good pace, and honestly, I didn't think I would even get to the top 5 because it's really hard to overtake in this track. But I think I had a really good start. I think there was also some like a little bit of chaos behind, but I spent I think most half of the race behind Mario Stanek until he did a mistake, and I was there to overtake him. Yeah, it was a really nice race.
Really nice race indeed, and you've had a couple of races like this where you've really put on a masterclass of a drive. You've come through the field to take a good result. You've got to be happy with today's work.
Yeah, I think the first 2 races is of the season. I mean, yeah, they are races to forget because in the first one I had like a DNF, and having counted I have one race less than my competitors, and I still have this pace to finish almost every race on the podium. I think I still have chances to win the championship.
Well, at the minute, as it stands, from my calculation, so don't take this as anything, the gap will be 14 points. So you've gained 4 points over Yannick. But obviously, results not confirmed yet, so that's not official. But from my calculations, so you might want to do your own, because I don't know if I'm correct, but the gap will be 14 points going into the battle for glory.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I mean, now we have to wait if there are some penalties. But yeah, I mean, 14 points is still a big gap, but less than it was 30 minutes ago. So I gotta be happy with today, and I have to be prepared for Battle for Glory.
Battle for Glory then. Marcus, how will you prepare for the Battle for Glory? Obviously, we don't know the circuit. So what will be your preparations going into a track that is unknown?
Yeah, honestly, I have no idea. I mean, I think I will try many types of different tracks, like fast speed corners and slow speed corners. I like a little bit of a mix of everything because you can know with what track these guys are going to surprise us with. So yeah, I think it would be a really big challenge.
Well, Marcus, provisional P3 at the moment. Well done today. Good luck in the Battle for Glory.
Thank you, Matthew.
Roy joins us back in the studio now. Roy, what a good race that was.
They all gave their best shot, like I hoped they would, and to see that the gap actually shrunk down a bit, kind of expected because he started way further ahead.
Yeah.
But at the same time, obviously, good on him. Great performance, great pace, no incidents. Similar for Yannick to come from all the way back.
Yeah.
Only one position behind him, so far at least. It's quite a job they've done, and I think they all knew what was at stake today.
Yannick, 13 places gained, 19th to 6th place. That's, you know, drivers making mistakes as well as him. We saw him make some lovely moves, especially around the outside of Gomez at Andretti Hairpin. Yannick put on a masterclass. But this man, Unai Morato, you have to feel sorry for, was leading the race up until the very last moments. Unai, P2, it's still a good result.
Yes. Coming from a P13 as a result, it's very good.
Just talk us through what happened when you was leading the race.
I was very calm, but nervous at the same time because I could have any error and Ramsey could overtake me.
What happened when Ramsey did overtake you? We saw that there was a back marker off the track. Just tell us what happened a little bit.
There were blue flags and I was going to overtake, but he closed me the door. It's something that could have happened to anyone, but it happened to me.
Battle for glory then, Unai. Obviously, it's a challenge, a step into the unknown. Are you looking forward to it, and what will be your preparation?
I don't know. I don't know too much about it.
Well, Unai, we wish you the best of luck. Congratulations, provisional P2 at the minute. Sorry that it wasn't to be the race win, unlucky for you, but well done on P2. And we have, he does have the same head. You have to feel.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
Because back markers are always a thing in racing and they always cause drama at times. And one of our youngest competitors to have the chance of a race win.
But a very mature response from him.
Yeah.
So I have big respect for that. Others would have already lost their mind. And yeah.
Yeah, indeed. Well, one man who we showed you a clip of last time out at Spa, who consistently finished in P7, got his best result at Spa of P6. That, Mohammed Ramsey, is no P6 or P7. That is the race win.
Hi, Matthew. How are you doing?
I'm very good. You must be a very happy man.
Yeah. First of all, I'm very sorry for Unai, of course. That was pretty unlucky from the back markers. I could see it actually from far away, so that's why I backed off a little bit when he got too close to them, and then for some reason they were quite aggressive, which makes sense because they were battling for position anyway. So I thought that Unai would be a little bit more can wait a little bit for an overtake, but I can feel him, of course, and I'm very sorry for him. And pretty much happy, of course, for first win after the last podium got taken off because of the penalty. But it is what it is.
So since we saw you and did the video with you for Spa, you've had your best result of P6 and now your best result of a race win. We must be some lucky charm. We come and film with you more often.
Yeah, hopefully, because I've had a few bad lucks during the season for the races that I joined, of course, and missing 3 races from the whole calendar had a huge effect on my championship points, of course. But you can't wish for more, anyways. So pretty much happy.
Now, your race here, you was attacking Unai towards the end. You used your experience and you saw what was happening ahead with the back markers. Do you think had the back markers not got involved with yours and Unai's battle, do you think you'd have got past him?
I actually I wasn't pushing too much, honestly speaking. I was just trying to pressure Unai as much as I could for him to make mistakes, because in Laguna Seca, overtaking is very difficult. So the only chance that you can have is for the guy in front to make any mistakes, and then you can leverage this afterwards. So I had pretty much few push to passes left. I was trying to save them, but when I saw the back markers there, I was trying to get close, but at the same time not to take too much risks.
Battle for Glory coming up 13th of December. I've asked the other two, how will you prepare for this? Obviously, It's an unknown circuit. January, sorry, yes, not December. That's rather cool. 13th of January, thank you. How will you prepare for this race that is unknown?
I don't know. I'll be in Egypt anyways for the whole month, so I'll just return back one day before it, so I won't have any time to practice. But it's all about luck and how fast you can get, or you can find pace in whichever track that will come up to us. So that's why I don't think about it too much, really.
Don't think about it too much. One thing to think about, we saw you staring at the monitors while racing. Keep your eyes on the road next time, because we saw you had a little wiggle while looking at the monitors. Yeah, I
almost got off the track.
And I do believe that we have just been told, Mohammed Ramsey, you are the race winner. You are confirmed P1. That is just came through to us, so congratulations.
Thanks a lot, Matthew. Really appreciate it.
That is Mohammed Ramsey there, then, your race winner. And what a drive from Mohammed and Unai. It was a great little battle between the two of them until the back markers got involved.
Yeah, they have been steadily improving over the season. When they joined first time, well, like he said, they were a bit unlucky, but they weren't at the front from the get-go. And all of a sudden here, well, maybe it was a bit difficult for the others, but...
Well, there is the man as he crossed the line. Mohammed Ramsey is the P1. Big smile on his face, Roy. He'll be very happy with that as well. The checkered flag and high fives from everybody at Munich. They love a podium.
Of course, well, who doesn't in that sense? He did say he feels sorry for Unai, but at the end of the day, a win's a win.
Yeah.
And you don't want to change that either, I think.
I understand what he means by, sorry for Unai, but at the same time, you're a racing driver. You want every point possible. That, though, is, I believe, a confirmed result. Mohammed Ramsey, race winner. Unai Morato, P2. Marcus Valverde, P3. That is a confirmed podium. Congratulations to the top three on that. So Marcus Valverde will score the 15 points to put him on 116. We now just await the final classification of the other results, which will come through when we're off air. The viewers, obviously, tomorrow will get to hear if Yannick Pletcher kept hold of his P5 as we go through the race results of today's race. 14 points if Yannick stays fifth. That's a big gap for Marcus with 25 up for grabs.
At least it was bigger earlier, so bigger chance to do something. We had bigger points gaps be overturned in the last race so far, but it is tough. It's going to be difficult, especially because nobody knows where the track is. Yeah. Will it be another track where they can't overtake? Will it be a track where you can abuse slipstream, if I say that correctly? But yeah, it's a big gamble for everyone. And like Valverde said, he's going to practice every kind of track. Who knows how far that'll bring him? Maybe he'll distract.
And apologise to Marcus Valverde. I said the gap was 14 points. It'll actually be 13 points, meaning that if Valverde was to win, Yannick finishes third. And Yannick finishes fourth. That gap will be 14. It will be the 13 points. They'll be tied on points, but because of Valverde's win, he will win it on. That's when we get difficult. That's when we go down to the other stipulation. Valverde would then win it because if Yannick finished fourth and Valverde won the race, Valverde would win it on 1/3 place. So that is what it would go down to if Marcus Valverde wins the race. They'd have 2 wins each, 3 second places each, and Valverde's third place today would win him the championship if that's where it went to.
That's what the countback is for, but I'm always glad I'm not the one having to do those graphics in the real world, or in this case, because it gets very complicated. And then you add the fastest lap stuff as well eventually, and it's just mathematics at the end of the day.
It's all crazy, and all the stipulations will be worked out for the battle for glory, that is for sure. What a crazy race, though. There was drivers up and down the order all over, and with it being the longest race in terms of 30 laps, the shortest track in terms of 59 seconds a lap, we saw a lot of back markers getting involved today that we don't normally see unless there's a lot of incidents. And it clearly sort of, I don't want to say it, but won the race for Mohammed Ramsey.
I have to feel for the back markers a bit as well, because you'd never practice with the thing in mind to what do I do during blue flags? The goal is to never even see a blue flag. Vice versa, you don't really practice lapping cars either, unless you're in a multi-class thing, which we clearly aren't in the Formula Series. But at the end of the day, it's a skill as well that you can only develop if it happens. And I'm sure both of them will now be a bit more cautious next time when they either get a blue flag or they know the car ahead has one.
So here's some replays. Now, for this man, he got a disqualification, David Wuthrich. Jump start, didn't serve his drive-through penalty.
What can I say? At the end of the day, that looked very, very
Can we get that to go back again? Because that was very close.
Reminds me a bit of the whole shenanigans that was in the Red Bull Ring 2017 with Bottas, where they had discussions for weeks.
So let's look at this again. Now, we don't have the lights on screen.
He was rolling.
Ah, there we go then.
He's probably...
So he's moving.
He's been rolling away a bit too much, probably.
We've had the opposite. We had Yannick Pletcher, which was big jump start at Zurich. We've had this one say that's millimetres, but he's rolling. So there we go.
Jump start is
You
a jump
noticed
start.
that? Well done. Didn't serve his drive-through penalty, disqualified.
I don't know if he didn't see the flag or if he just really was a bit...
Now, do race control or does somebody tell you that you've got the drive-through penalty?
I never had one here, so they should technically be telling you.
Because when Yannick got his at Zurich Airport, who was the one?
It was me.
So
I went ahead because that was a very obvious jump start there.
Yeah.
In this case, I feel like he didn't even really realize himself that he was rolling into a jump start.
Now, this goes back to a conversation me and Fabio had about the Yannick Pletcher one, where you kind of calibrate by pressing both gears. Do we think he's done that? Caught first and he started to roll?
Hard to say. Usually when you do calibrate it, you go into first gear, you just drive off because you try to get the revs high at the start, which he didn't probably.
Yeah.
So maybe he was trying to stay in first gear to drive off immediately, but it's hard to say.
Interesting. See, this is Walter Troninger then at the end. What looks to be the start, in fact, what looks to be the beginning of the race. This is the very start, it looks like. Squeezed onto pit entry. Oh. Now, he actually comes off worse from making contact there. Oh, stop. Yeah,
lucky for the gravel here.
Very lucky. But he makes the contact and he comes off worse. Race control, probably no further action.
That's their decision at the end of the day. It always depends on not just if you come off worse, but how much does it affect the other driver's race at the end of the day? Just because you're out and the other guy is last doesn't mean you don't deserve anything. But like I said, at least the gravel was there. If it wouldn't have been there, we would have gone bowling, probably.
The middle of the field would have been skittled. And at the time, you look who was in that middle of the field. Yannick Pletcher, you know, Nico, Marcus Valverde was there. If they're the drivers getting wiped out, you know, it changes the story. Laguna, though, that's classed as turn one, that little bend as you come up the hill. And it's just narrow from the pit exit sort of line to where the track is. Everybody's going for the same piece of tarmac, and it's just everybody's funneled into one. Here is Simon Shelbert. Borges Arzo's the car behind, I imagine. No, he's the car well in front.
Classic.
Yeah. Not seen a last corner incident yet.
Well, just you wait, I assume.
Yeah, I assume. Shelbert late on the brakes, past two cars, straight into the back of Borgia. Slam dunk penalty.
Yeah, it's the usual corkscrew incident we've seen in many series.
I'm surprised we've not seen it more today.
Yet.
Well,
you never know.
Yes,
but, it's been a rare occasion so far. Maybe also because the drivers are a bit more careful there. They should have been advised that the race control is actually checking the corkscrew especially. Yeah. So with that knowledge in mind, personally, I would be a lot more careful there. That's maybe why.
We saw a lot of drivers running wide onto the gravel, none more so than Yannick Pletcher, who seemed to be pushing them limits a lot. Is that what cost Yannick in terms of catching Lorenzo, maybe clearing Gomez early?
That is always a bit of a what-if thing, because if he would have caught up earlier, what would have happened then?
Yeah,
could have been an incident maybe. He might have not been able to get past. Maybe it would have been an easy overtake. It's hard to say, because maybe if he didn't do these mistakes, Lorenzo would have done them, or he would have done them anyway, but ahead, and then they would have had a back and forth.
Yeah, exactly. So once again, full race classification. Mohamed Ramsey, race winner. Unai Morotto, P2. Marcus Valverde, P3. That means that with Yannick Pletcher, provisionally P5, until we go off air, we won't know where Yannick Pletcher is. The championship looks like this. 129 is what Yannick Pletcher is on, 116 for Marcus Valverde. The gap is 13 points in favour of Yannick Pletcher going into the battle for glory, meaning that if Marcus Valverde wins the race, Yannick Pletcher needs to finish 4th or lower in the championship. Sorry, 5th or lower in the championship. If Yannick Pletcher finishes 4th, then it will go to a countback of race wins, which will be tied on 2 if Valverde wins. Second places will be tied on 3, and third places will go the way of Valverde. Here's Timothy Spearson then on Joshua Hader. Straight, well held from Joshua there. And was that his brother going past?
I don't know actually, but...
oh no, that was
continues.
Spearson on Joshua Hader. So Spearson had got a tap from somebody behind, and he just drove Joshua straight off the road.
I've seen this happen a few times, and what I've realized in a situation like this, many drivers just look in the mirror, hoping to find a line to block 2-3 cars at the same time, and by the time they look back on the track, it's too late. The brake marker has already passed you, and the last thing you can do is use the other car as the brake, because you can't even avoid it anymore.
That gave Valverde and Pletcher an extra couple of places, as it happened. So, you know, they capitalised on mistake from one other driver taking another one out.
Sometimes that's what you need.
And I suppose, Roy, as well, this is racing. You know, today the luck was on Valverde and Pletcher's side. It wasn't them getting rear-ended. Any other day, it could have been them involved in that incident.
That's why it's always a bit difficult to say, yeah, this driver would have won if he would have gotten past at that time, because what could happen is that they would have been in that exact position. Yeah. And that's why, personally, I'm never a fan of, but he would have, could have, if...
Would have, could have is okay if it happens, but it doesn't. Right. Race Control is investigating Yannick Pletcher and Adrian Gomez for this. Now, we saw this on air. Yannick up the inside, a bit of contact, both very well held. Nice drifting skills from the pair of them.
Yeah, it's the usual braking late and two drivers not really in sync.
Now, Yannick gives him the place back. And it takes Yannick a while to get back ahead of Gomez. So it's not like he gives him the place and gets straight back ahead. If you're in race control right now, what do you do with that? What do you think?
You'd have to look at the whole race afterwards, in my opinion, to see which of those two finished, and also the driver behind both of them.
Torlachi.
Exactly. If he managed to get a bigger advantage over... who hit who again?
Pletcher hit Gomez.
Yeah. If he gets a big advantage over Gomez, then it gets a bit more into the direction of a penalty, in my opinion.
So as we know, Pletcher finished P5, Torlachi finished P6, Gomez finished down in 8th after falling behind Mario Stanic.
It gets a bit difficult now because...
I suppose it depends when Pletcher got through, how many laps it took Yannick to get ahead of... Because if he stuck behind Gomez for another 5 or 6 laps, you know...
The thing is, giving back a position is never a guarantee.
Yeah.
And it's better than nothing.
Yeah.
Get a lighter penalty, if anything, but... Yeah.
The thing for Yannick, though, is if he loses a couple of places, that gap to Valverde comes down. So, Yannick under investigation for this incident with Adrian Gomez. Now, yes, he gives him the place back, but like Roy says, how much does Gomez lose in the build-up to that? You see there is Torlachi, who Yannick, by the way, the rest of that clip is on. Yannick does very well to keep it around the outside of Torlachi. There is control.
They're looking at exactly this.
I wonder if this is the last one they've got to. This is the hard thing here, Roy, is you can look at any incident now that has no consequence on the championship. This has massive consequences on the championship. Does Valverde leave here 13 points behind? Or if Yannick gets a penalty and drops down the standings, does Valverde leave here, I don't know, 8?
In a way, I think Valverde will be hoping. Of course, if the chance is there to minimize the points gap, you want it. But at the same time, is that really the way you want it to happen? It's always an unfortunate feeling if you can only hope in such a situation that your rivals get punished, basically. But at the end of the day, it could have been him too. So that's just how motorsports works.
Exactly. And I suppose Valverde will take any penalty. No racing driver wants to win because of penalties, but no racing driver wants to win when gets disconnected.
That too.
So, you know, it kind of balances itself out at the moment. Right. Well then, race control. Looking at the Yannick Pletcher on Morocco then, side by side with Koch. And, he just turns in on him. Morotto hits the sausage curb and into the wall backwards. Koch just does not leave him the space while being given the blue flags. Now, right, fair enough. Koch's had no battle up front, but that battle was over by the time Morocco was side by side.
Yeah, the blue flag thing, like I mentioned earlier, if you don't practice it, and why would you?
Yeah.
You don't really know what to do, and as soon as the other car gets into your blind spot, it gets even worse.
So here is Morotto. He comes through, he gets a good run as Koch doesn't through turn 3. I mean, blue flags or not, you've got to leave the cars with.
Yeah, if I see a blue flag, usually, of course, I don't want to lose time.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you need sensible and just accept the fact that you have to lose some time without risking to ruin someone else's race, especially if it's the leader. I've seen it in Formula 1 happen.
Yeah.
It's never good.
It
gives you a blight on yourself.
Ocon and Verstappen it.
Correct.
Do you think, though, that a bit of common sense, we're all racing fans, we all racing, a bit of common sense knowing you are being blue flagged? Yes, you never practice it. We all know the rule. So does common sense come into this, and Koch should have thought, well, actually, hang on, I'm better just going a little wider, let these two go.
I do a lot of multi-class racing in the sim world as well, and we don't have the rule to get out of the way in the flag like Formula 1 has. But at the same time, it usually is in your own interest to get out of the way, because if you battle against the car that wants to lap you, you lose time.
Yeah.
Not just him, you lose time too. So best case scenario, you let him pass and you drive after him.
Follow the leaders.
Yes.
Chase back down after the car you was fighting with.
And if you're lucky, he gets out of the way.
He gets out of the way.
Follow
straight through. Yeah, common sense. Obviously, that's the difference between the endurance, multi-class racing that you do and Formula racing that we do then. But let's go over now to Madrid for the victory ceremony. As here we get to crown P2, P3. It'll be Marcus Valverde who will step up onto that P3 spot on the podium. As he appears any moment now, as if by magic, Marcus Valverde on your screen now. There he is. There we go. Marcus Valverde, P3 for him. Takes point off of Yannick Pletcher, and I'm sure he'll know that Yannick Pletcher is under investigation. Very happy man. And since they've been in this new racing lounge, as Unai Morotto getting second place, he'll be chuffed to bits for that. There's the confetti. Since Madrid have been in their new racing lounge, they have not been off of the podium. It's been a podium racer and Challenger League every week for Unai as Valverde tells him to come onto the top step. Two big smiles there.
Double podiums in the same lounge are always fun to see.
They are indeed. We ever had a triple podium?
I can't remember.
Munich this year.
Munich if anything, it's Munich.
Yeah. Munich Racer League this year. So that is second and third of Valverde and Unai Morotto then in Madrid. And we're going to head over to Munich now, where we get to celebrate the race winner of Mohamed Ramzi. The beautiful setting here. Mohamed Ramzi will step onto podium. The confetti's ready. All over Mohamed. Anthem's really had an extra bit of excitement to it, don't they, this year?
It gives a lot of immersion,
Yeah.
and as a driver, you're always happy. And it's not something you experience a lot.
Yeah.
If you win in sim racing, you don't usually get an anthem.
No, yeah.
If you win in lower category motorsports, you often don't get an anthem either. So it's cool.
Yeah.
And should bring a lot more excitement for the drivers.
The drivers see it.
I'd hope.
I'd hope so too there. Mohamed Ramzi then, race winner. Little wiggle there.